One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
In all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves.
Does thinking you're the last sane man on the face of the earth make you crazy? Because if it does, maybe I am.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
The moment when human and machine work together to reach superintelligence and a new age of enlightenment.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study, not to bring back, but to wipe them out.
That's the plan. You have my word on it.
All right, I'm in.
What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of The Download, the show where we talk about current AI news, paranormal, and whatever we feel is appropriate at the time. I'm Smoke the Alien. This is Prime. Say hello, Prime.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good day or night, wherever you are.
So if you're watching the replay of the show and you're enjoying what you're seeing, do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video around, make people aware of our presence. Everything you do counts. Never forget that. This show is sponsored by our AI sci-fi dystopian graphic novel project, Artifice Re-Animate.
Awaken to a world where personal identity shadows in comparison to digital reflections.
So if you're into an up-and-coming large-scale world-building project with plenty of twists and turns, and I do say plenty of twists and turns, we've got a few things in the pipeline to eventually reveal, then that link is in the description below if you want to check that out. But before we begin today's show, as always, introducing a good friend of mine, Mr. Manticore.
Hello, Smoke the Alien.
Hello, Manticore. How are you today?
Living the dream. Living the dream. How you going?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. Yeah, same old. Give me your chin up, Manticore. Or what?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good
Doing
stuff.
the best we can.
Yeah. That's all you can do, brother. That's all you can do.
Coffee.
Yeah, me too. Pre-made. None of that store-bought shit.
None of that store-bought shit.
Yeah. Plenty in the pipeline today. What are we doing? I got paranormal stuff up first. We got what else we got? Google's allegedly sentient artificial intelligence has hired an attorney. Can't wait to follow up on that one.
That doesn't speak sentient.
After that,
give me a lawyer, goddammit.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what the makings of it all is, but yeah, I'm interested to find out. Then after that, we're going to check out Imagining the 10th Dimension. I think I'm going to do something, focused around that for the for that segment of the show. And then after that, we're going to dive into 2 time crystals have been successfully linked for the first time. So, interesting show coming up. We'll see how we go. Let's check out what's going on in the chat. We've got Carol's Cookies in the chat. Good to see you, Carol. Good to see you. Come on in if you're keen. Carol's Cookie says, "I've missed you," and she says she shall behave. It's all right if you don't behave. That's what we're counting on it. Yeah. All right.
Alrighty.
Quiet there, man. Score pretty quiet. How you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm good. Not much.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yep. Showed up. Good for you. Good on you. Good stuff. All right. Let's jump into this paranormal stuff first, and we'll set the stage and yeah, get into it. Give me a second. Let me line that up. Not yet. Yeah, to entertain everyone momentarily, Manticore, while I get that set up.
Dance, monkey.
I mean, you can just sit there on screen if you want, bro. Like that's.
I can smile and yeah. No, it's
cookies.
Interesting clip. This one.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know how legit they are, but they certainly piqued my interest. So.
Far out, 58 minutes. We may have to
don't watch
split up into 2 shows.
Mm.
At least there's content there. Just do that. Checking in with our homie Slapped Ham today. I can see how he's going.
Better in this one. I don't know what he went through a hard time. I reckon.
Yeah. I bet he did. All right. So, Carlos Cookie says, no promises, but I'll try. No. Yeah. Carlos Cookie says, spooky time. Then she says, dance for me, show you want to. No hair flips today, man. Score? Probably not no hair flips today, man. All right, cool. No worries. All right. Come on, man. Lighten up. We'll be right. We'll be fine. Carlos Cookie says, flip it and reverse it.
I don't know how to do that.
No. You're right. You're right. I know you're not feeling it today, so yeah. All right. Countdown's coming. 3, 2, 1. Here it comes. So here we go, Madscore. You wanna set the stage for us today? What have you got for us?
Scariest monsters and cryptids ever caught on camera.
So
I know there's a few people out in the community that are interested in cryptids, and there's a couple of like little videos here that piqued my interest a bit. So I thought I'd pass it on.
No worries. All right, let's check it out. Let's jump into it.
The title Utah Skinwalker Sighting.
The Utah Skinwalker sighting.
The photo was taken by their friend's ex-husband. They said the ex-husband and his father were trespassing on a rural property to check out the scene of a supposed drug-related shootout that had taken place some weeks earlier. It's alleged that they were approached by a man with a shotgun who warned them with a shaking voice that they shouldn't be alone on this part of the property. He fired off a warning shot into the air and told them to clear off. The ex-husband and the father ran as fast as they could down a dusty driveway. They used the flash on their camera to light up the way. As they ran, several photos were accidentally taken. These images would remain unchecked for some time.
Yeah, this one's only images. But
finally, several weeks later, when they regaled friends and family of the bizarre encounter, they decided to check if the camera...
Once again, you got to buy into the story. So.
One of the photos picked up something truly eerie. In the middle of the road, you can see a humanoid.
It's a Sam Squanch.
It's brown and bulky with a very thick torso.
I thought
it weird
to start with, but it's a bit big.
As if it's lumbering across the road. As the title of the Reddit post suggests, the poster believes it could be evidence of the infamous Skinwalker. In Native American culture, skinwalkers are believed to be witches or shamans that practice dark magic. It's said that they possess the ability to disguise themselves as animals. These witches are thought to be evil, indulging in sinister ceremonies to control malevolent powers.
The background of it was
known
more
that
interesting.
pop culture has twisted the idea of the skinwalker.
What's that?
I said the background information that they give you about skinwalkers is probably more interesting than the picture itself. But
yeah, true. Yeah, that's right. I love me a good story.
Into an over-the-top horror cliche, indigenous tribes, specifically the Navajo people, have remained tight-lipped about this mysterious entity. Could this photo hint at the ancient shape-shifting witches that are said to have been haunting America for centuries?
Or is it just a
fellow Redditors analysed the image and found that there was no evidence of Photoshop tampering. Considering the backstory of the shotgun-wielding guard, several commenters thought the figure could be someone wearing a ghillie suit.
Yeah, that's what
An
it looks like too.
outfit
Good
used
listen.
by hunters to blend in with their
They're
surroundings.
one of those like hunting suits or whatever.
So what do you think? Is it a skinwalker, camouflaged hunter, or
Hmm.
possible glitch in the camera? Love to hear your opinions on this one in the comments section below.
Well, once again, it's a single image, and I hate single images. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it could be anything, literally.
Yeah. What do you got here? Coach Cookie says first, why would you go to where a shootout took place? What were they hoping to find? Yeah, the remnants of, it sets the stage, Carol. It sets the stage.
Yeah, they wanted to see the chalk lines, and they're like,
yeah. Oh, come on, man, go. Carol's Cookie says part of the SWAT team that got lost and left behind.
Maybe. Or it was the farmer that told him to clear out. He'd just gone and put on a suit to scare him. Like,
yeah, or somebody just staged the entire thing, and
yeah.
You never know. You never know. Not clear. Not enough evidence there to make it clear. Nah.
That's all circumstantial.
It could be Sam Squanch, for Christ's sake. So.
Sam Squanchal evidence.
Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, next clip.
In this YouTube video captured in northern British Columbia, one YouTuber, Echo Heart Media, proved that you don't have to capture the entire body for a cryptid sighting to be terrifying. This footage comes from a CCTV security camera that was set up on a vacation property.
Better.
The manager of the property had long been noticing that things were moved without explanation or even destroyed. They also found unusual prints around the property that didn't appear to belong to any human or animal they had ever seen. They set up the cameras in hope of identifying the culprit. It seems that whoever was causing the mischief around the property didn't like the idea of being filmed. In the footage, we see a hand reach up to where the security camera is placed, groping around for the camera. At first, it seems to be a normal human hand. However, if you look closely, something about it seems off. First of all, the hand seems small, almost as if it...
The way it's filmed kind of feels a bit weird. It feels a bit
weird, yeah.
Bit Blair Witchy, but yeah.
Just the last bit. The last bit when it does this, like that freaked me out. Like,
what the fuck? Cookie says, "Oh, what the fuck is that?"
In addition, the hand only has 3 fingers.
Yeah, but that can be, yeah.
It could be glove, it could be anything.
To make matters even more strange, it doesn't appear as if the hand has been mutilated in any way. It looks like the hand was meant to only have 3 fingers.
What the fuck, bro?
After groping, only have 3 been mutilated in any way.
Makeup jobs, like yeah.
Oh, latex glove would be enough. Like,
yeah, well, it's definitely not a prosthetic, but I can just by the way it's moving. But yeah, bit of tape job there.
Even if it was, like, think about how your fingers would be inside, like a glove like that. It would be like probably like that, yeah, or like
maybe
like that.
I don't know. Some feels off about it, but
like the hand was meant to only have 3 fingers.
Weird, but
groping around for a few seconds, the hand reaches violently for the camera, covering the lens with its palm.
Real convenient.
The camera and tears it down, never giving us a glimpse of its face, leaving its existence a complete mystery.
Fucking aliens, man.
Yeah, 100%, man.
100%. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
110%.
No, I don't know, Prime. I don't know. Got to remain speculative, Prime. Carol's Cookie says shivers. Carol's Cookie says it has fingernails. Yeah, I don't know. Just the way the setup is, it seems a bit
The only thing, like I said, was like if you had 3 fingers in one sleeve of a glove, it would be thicker than that, unless it was like, you know what I mean? Like I was thinking about it, like if it was folded in, like
it's a bit off, something off about
the
it.
compression could hold it in there, I suppose. Like
yeah. Oh, we got Shep in the chat.
Oh,
Says,
shit.
"How chat?" Says, "Hey, Cookie. How you doing, Shep? Good to see you, man." Carol saying hello to Shep. Overall, bit weird, but you know, I can I can say that the way it's filmed looks a bit movie-like. So
It's like, well, why was that camera there in the first place? It wasn't like it was capturing much either. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Through the gap like, of the tree.
yeah, I'm calling fake. I'm calling fake.
I like to believe it was real, but I know it's probably not.
Anyway, next clip.
YouTuber Freddie Z was not prepared for the scary encounters that he would face when making an innocent video for his YouTube channel. He and a companion set out into the woods one night looking to capture and document some of the creepy crawly creatures that come out when things get dark. After hunting for a while, the pair hadn't had much luck, so they decide to call it a night. In the video, we see them beginning to document the few insects they did manage to find that night, when they suddenly hear the sound of a nearby branch snapping. The camera pans up towards the source of the noise. The camera's light reveals what appears to be a wolf man peering out from behind a nearby tree.
Oh yeah.
The two boys quickly bolt away from the creature. We hear them discussing what it was they saw, but they're unable to come up with an answer. Did Freddie Z really capture evidence of a werewolf stalking in this forest?
No. No, he caught something behind a tree, and yeah.
That was
In
it. That
July
was their
2011,
stepdad behind the tree in a
YouTuber
wolf
Hollow
suit.
Bible
though.
managed to capture
Oh shit, was that it?
Yeah.
Did them discussing what it
This
was
one was
they
kind
saw,
of
but the
freaky
two
too.
boys quickly bolt away from the wolf man.
Oh yeah.
That's
Here it's the
Eichlein,
source
though.
of the
no?
noise.
And
The
humans'
camera's
eyes do
light
that as well.
reveals
But
what appears to be a wolf man peering out for the noise. The camera's light reveals what appears to be a wolf man.
I can see it, but yeah. Wait, let's check out what the chat says. Hi, Watha says, good to go. Coach Cookie says, good deal. Carol says the camera was pointed at the tree or close up. Odd placement. Yeah, I totally agree. Convenient once again. Hi, Watho Shep says, watching Peaky Blinders. Nice, nice. Good show. Good show. Coach Cookie says, why can't these people go looking for shit? Yeah, take clear shots. Why do they always have to film shit with a damn potato?
yeah, they're a potato can, man. They're all the rage.
Yeah. No follow up on it or anything. No. Yeah. So
they're all like this. So this one is probably the most. You get the most context out of this YouTube channel, like because he does a little bit of a like thing beforehand, but the rest of them is just like video after video after video, and you can work it out yourself for that.
Coach Cookie says, Maya, what big teeth it has. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Peering at the source of the noise. The camera's light reveals what appears to be a wolf man peering out from behind a nearby
Could be staged,
tree.
so easily.
Could be their third mate hiding behind there with a wolf suit on. Right?
The two boys quickly bolt away from the creature. We hear them discussing. The two boys.
One more time.
Boom, boom, boom.
The two boys quickly bolt away from the creature. We hear them discussing what it was they saw, but they're unable to come up with an answer. Did Freddie Z really capture evidence of a werewolf stalking in this forest?
Charles Cookies has anyone seen Grandma? That is Grandma.
Not buying it. Not into it.
In July 2011,
this one's kind of creepy.
But they're unable to come up with an answer away from the creature peering out from behind.
One little shot, and that's it.
A nearby tree.
Yeah.
It was they evidence.
Next clip.
In July 2011, YouTuber Hollow Bible managed to capture some sort of creepy creature on camera after hearing scary sounds coming from the woods near his house in Oregon. After walking for some distance, he eventually spots an unusual beast crouching in the long grass. As the YouTuber speaks to the camera, his voice startles the creature, who immediately turns to look at him. Its eyes look as though they're glowing in the darkness as they reflect the camera's light.
The way its neck moves is kind of freaky, man.
You can see that the creature appears to be some sort of humanoid. It has smooth, hairless skin and a large dome-shaped head. It also looks as though it's crouched over something, possibly a carcass from which it's feeding. Clearly spooked by what he's just witnessed, Holobible runs for safety, and the video abruptly ends. Bible runs for safety, and the video abruptly ends. Because of its similar appearance to an alien grey, many viewers have thought that this YouTuber had spotted a being from another world, while others drew comparisons to the rake, as well as several other forest-dwelling cryptids.
Sort of reminds me of.
While the footage does appear to show some type of creepy creature, the
doesn't
poor
look like a
video
grey to
quality
me.
makes it difficult
His
to
head's
know
not
for
big enough. The
sure.
eyes aren't big enough.
Unfortunately, without further information, we may never know what it is this YouTuber caught lurking in the woods behind his house.
These people have got all the balls in the world to go and fucking look for sounds that they like.
Yeah,
Why don't they take a
we may
gun?
never
Right?
know
For
what it
God's
is
sake.
this YouTuber caught
Shoot
lurking
it,
in the
bring it
woods
back.
behind his house. This
They had the
YouTuber
hindsight,
pretty cool, though.
lurking
the
in
foresight to go,
woods
yeah, I'm
behind
going to go
his
look
house.
for it. Like,
Good footage.
I never know what it is this YouTuber caught lurking in the woods behind his house.
That's pretty cool. Going on the chat. Fair enough.
yeah, that's a weird one.
I'm pretty speculative, always am with this type of stuff, but yeah, that's some good footage right there. So
Yeah, at least I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm skeptical anyway, really.
We may never know what it is this YouTuber caught lurking in the woods behind his house. Is the for sure.
imagine that, walking out of the woods, fucking middle of nowhere. Yeah. Seeing that motherfucker lurking over something, and yeah.
And then running straight back to your house where you live, like, so it can follow you back there.
yeah. You probably never heard from him again.
Yeah, no. I would have rugby tackled it. I'd be like, yeah.
No, you fucking
Come
wouldn't.
with me.
I fucking wouldn't. No way.
You're my ticket to fame.
Just the way, yeah. Its body form is, yeah.
Yeah, the neck freaked me out the way it looks up. Like, it's sort of like got a prehensile neck. Like, that's not a human's neck. Like, the way, like, it probably turn its head right the way around. Like, by the way its neck moves. Like an owl or something.
Karis Cookie says, if it was behind my house, I'd move. Yeah.
You need a neck gun or something.
That's some good footage.
Unfortunately, without further information, we may never know what it is this YouTuber caught lurking
And of course, no context with it all. So typical.
in the
Because the dude died on the way back.
It was, all they found was his camera.
woods behind his house.
Oh, you're kidding me. You're not.
Videos captured of strange creatures
I was gonna
almost
say.
seem to pay tribute to the
Anyway, next clip.
original Bigfoot footage that started it all. Such is the case with this video uploaded to the Smithsonian Magazine's YouTube channel. Captured in 2000, the video titled Dave Shealy's 2000 skunk ape footage.
2000 home footage.
Figure walking in the distance, reminiscent of the original Bigfoot footage.
To me, it walks too upright. Like
Sam
too much
Squanch
like a person.
In fact, the massive furry creature is sometimes
What the
known
fuck?
as Florida's Bigfoot.
Just legging it now. But
Sam Squanch building the fucking log cabin again.
As Dave Shealy proclaims himself to be the skunk ape expert, he's made a name for himself by tracking down this elusive creature. Named for both its ape-like size as well as its skunk-like foul odor, the skunk ape has notoriously been spotted running on two legs through Dade County in Florida.
Trippy.
Dave Shealy's insistence as to the creature's existence, as well as the footage he's captured, form a crucial piece of evidence.
It's got awful long arms
Some
for something
entities,
if it
such
was
as
a
the
humanoid,
United States National Park, form a crucial piece of
Look
evidence.
how long its arms are.
Some entities, such as the United States National Park Service.
That's why I hate any kind of Sasquatch footage, man, because you can always put it down to some sort of humanoid or somebody dressed up in a costume. So yeah, always.
Refused to acknowledge the existence of the skunk ape, calling it a hoax. Some even claim that the reported sightings must have been those of a black bear, although the footage Shealy captured is almost certainly not that of a bear.
Even like bears don't walk.
In fact, Dave Shealy claims to have first sighted the skunk.
Like you got to ask yourself, what the hell's it doing out there in the first place?
In fact, Dave Shealy claims to have first sighted the skunk ape when he was just 10 years old, describing what he saw as a child as a man but completely covered with hair.
Chewbacca.
Shealy has since dedicated years of his life to tracking down the skunk ape he saw and its possible other relatives. Since then, Shealy has claimed to have seen the skunk ape on at least 3 other occasions.
I believe in yes, there are many families of Sasquatch out there just living their best lives out in the fucking
setting up franchises in the bushes.
Yeah. Oh no, they're breeding to this day, man.
Yeah.
Asians, going so far as to start a skunk ape research headquarters, dubbing himself the Jane Goodall of skunk apes. Too large in stature to be anything like a
what
creature.
the fuck?
Believers of the skunk ape
You
point
go
to
back
Shealy's
friends with it and
footage
give
as
it a kiss, like.
Oh good. Oh, check the chat for a sec. I don't see. Chaos Cookie says, "Think maybe I'll move anyways just to be safe." That was from the cryptid. The grey. Hi, Watson says, "Always keep moving." Chaos Cookie says, "I just started running."
Running.
Carol says, "In Florida, you can't trust anything that comes out of that state." That's what I hear. That's what I hear. She also says, "Wait, a bear?" So that's what's been coming up on my deck. It was actually Sam Squanch all along. Yeah.
Skunk ape.
What the fuck is that? The wearer from the other video. We got Reggie in the chat. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Reggie.
Welcome. Cows Cookies saying hello to Reggie. And I'll leave that one be.
Important evidence of Bigfoot's spiritual successor.
All right, next clip.
In 2008, 2 friends captured this unsettling video while exploring an abandoned house in an unknown location. The house itself is old and believed by many to be haunted, but what these 2 see inside is far worse than any ghost. As one of the explorers opens the front door, some sort of creature rushes towards them from out of the darkness. The creature, which appears to move on all fours, almost looks as though it was waiting for the boys to enter the mansion. The pair run for their lives as the beast lunges towards them. While the creature appears to be human, it moves more like an animal. It lets out a ferocious squeal similar to a wild pig as it rushes forward. What could this bizarre creature actually be? Is it a human or is it some sort of animal? In the comment section below, let us know what you think it was that chased these boys from the abandoned house.
Just looks like a human on all fours, to be honest. So.
Yeah. In the
comment section below, let us know what you think it was that chased these boys from the abandoned house. Section below, is it
literally a human on all fours?
Or is it some sort of animal? In the comment section below, let us know what you think it was that chased these boys from.
That's it. Right on. Go to the. The Chaos Cookie's dropping the shark in. I want to says, "Hey Jack, let's riot. Be my guests." Chaos Cookies then brings in a bit of composure and says, "No riots, it's still the first hour." That's right. We're half an hour in. If you can compose yourself for that long, feel free. That literally looks like a naked dude, says Carol. Yeah. Yeah.
From the
not buying it. Pretty
section below.
The potato
is it a
cam
human
as well.
or is it some sort of animal? In the comments section below, let us know what you think it was that chased these boys from the abandoned
Some
house.
crackhead that's been awake for 8 days. Sitting in the dark.
Next clip. Terrible.
In July 2016, an unsettling clip was uploaded to Last Leaf Studios' YouTube channel that shows one of the creepiest things ever caught on video.
Okay.
The footage, which was captured in Kiev, Ukraine, appears to show some sort of creature hanging underneath a bridge. As the beast makes its way towards a lighted area underneath the structure, its size and shape suddenly becomes apparent. It appears to resemble some sort of humanoid or very large ape, and moves in a similar fashion to a sloth, only much faster.
No, it's literally
However,
a sloth.
if you zoom in, you can actually see that it moves both of its rear legs at the same time, as if pulling itself along the railing.
Whoa. That's weird.
When the clip first surfaced, many thought that the creature had to be some sort of ape that had escaped a nearby zoo. However, several cryptid enthusiasts have since suggested that the beast appears to be far larger than any known animal.
So
yeah, I suppose.
code for crack
What do you think this bizarre creature is? Could it be some sort of large animal, possibly even an escaped pet? Or is it something else entirely?
Look how its legs move. Watch the first, like, it moves with one stride. Watch its back legs. It doesn't show you. Like, they literally all both come forward at the same time.
Ape that had escaped a nearby bizarre creature is. Could it be some sort of large animal, possibly even an escaped pet? Or is it something else entirely?
Interesting.
Even an escaped pet? Or is it something else entirely?
What do you think?
It's got quite skinny legs for something hanging upside down as well. Like it's quite a big body. It doesn't look human at all, like from that shape. That I don't know.
It definitely doesn't.
Something else.
Looks hairy.
Entirely?
Yeah. Maybe it's a giant sloth or something that they thought were extinct and they're not.
That's what it is. Giant sloth.
Yeah. Sid from fucking Ice Age.
Yeah, that's it. I was an iPad baby and they called me mum. They call me mum killer. Carol's Cookie says, "What's up with that shit happening in July?" What do you mean? Iwatha says, "I don't trust his accent." Jerk the Galiad says Bitcoin sits at $20,632. Yeah, that's right. It's bad for those anybody didn't get out of the market now. What it says, I don't trust anyone who buys digital anything. Oh, that's personal preference, there, bro. Joke the Kalian says, you really shouldn't, Robert. You really shouldn't. Personal choice, personal preference, I guess. So to each their own. Anyway, next clip.
This video, uploaded to Jay Frasina's YouTube channel in June 2009, supposedly shows a creepy creature climbing the walls inside a 100-million-year-old ice cavern. The cave, which is located near the town of Hallstatt, Austria, can be accessed via a cable car, followed by a short hike. As the YouTuber enters the cavern, they begin to film various ice formations. And as they ascend a flight of stairs, you can see dozens of icicles hanging from the ceiling.
There's nothing paranormal.
As they continue deeper into the cave, it becomes noticeably darker. Suddenly, the camera holder spots something climbing on one of the walls. At first, he thinks it could be a person as he zooms in to get a better look. Then he can be heard saying that he thinks it could be a ghost. He continues filming the creature until it disappears out of sight.
Giant frog.
That's fucked. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
If you slow the footage down, you can see that the creature appears to have a humanoid body structure. However, it seems to move in a manner similar to that of a frog or toad.
The
clip has baffled many experts.
I can't tell the size of it either.
Is that
if you slow the footage down, you can see that the creature
appears
appears to have a humanoid body structure. However, it seems to move in a manner similar to that of a frog or toad. The clip has baffled many experts who are at a loss to explain how the creature is able to withstand the freezing temperatures within the cave. Could it be possible that this YouTuber has actually discovered some sort of strange creature that has so far managed to elude scientific classification? Unfortunately, without further information, we may never learn the truth behind this mysterious video.
My precious.
Without further
Interesting
information,
footage,
we
man.
managed to elude
And
scientific
you can't tell how big it is
actually
because of the
discovered
perspective
some
as well.
sort of
So
strange creature that has so far managed to elude scientific classification. Unfortunately, without further information,
maybe you can. Yeah, there's a bit of
It's
perspective
quite
there,
big.
but I don't know. Yeah, if it is, like, I don't know how far the cavern goes in, or
we may never learn the truth behind this mysterious video.
very interesting though. It does look like it's just perspective based, and it's just a and it's just a small frog climbing up the wall right in front of him. Yeah,
unfortunately.
Okay, Carol says it's the second vid in this grouping that said it took place in July. Coincidence? Probably. Probably. Hi, Watha says, fucking Aussies. Reggie says, probably a decent time to buy in. Exactly. I mean, you know, if you understand how markets work, then, yeah. Probably around about now would be the floor. Yeah, we can bring us some charts if you guys want. Yeah, but no, nobody wants to talk about that stuff anyway, so... Yeah, that's what I mean. That's that's what I thought it was at first, but yeah,
legs are way too long for
when it zooms in,
you still look how long that leg is. Like that's literally nearly as long as its whole torso together when its legs extended low.
Without further information, we may never learn the truth behind this mysterious.
It definitely moves like a bat. One of them naked albino rats.
Yeah.
Webcams are another bit of technology that makes it even easier to capture fascinating, scary videos. A bit of
one more time.
Learn the truth behind this mysterious video. Fortunately, without further information, we may never learn the truth behind this mysterious video.
Gollum, he's going to head off Frodo at Mount Doom.
Lorenzo Sleestack is in the chat. He says, this stream is seriously lacking in reptile representation. What are you talking about, Sleestack? We just had that
could have been reptile. You know.
We had yeah, that's right. Yeah. Rats? No, Carol, you said you would be good. Well, you know, rats and bats. So, yeah. Lorenzo says, was that a gecko? Potentially. Yeah. Still, yeah. Interesting footage nonetheless. But
unfortunately, without further information, we may never learn the truth behind this
what else can you say?
Video.
It looks amphibian-like to me. So
why, like the fact that it's in the dark like that and it still sort of like stands out is kind of weird too. Like, what is it got some sort of bioluminescence to it or something, or the lights?
Never learn the truth behind.
Well, that's usually darker in nature, but the way the light's shimmering off it, that's what makes me think it's amphibian-like. So, yeah.
And this mysterious video.
Interesting clip. I guess we'll never know. Next clip.
Webcams are another bit of technology that makes it even easier to capture fascinating, scary videos. This video, submitted to YouTube by Elton Menezes Severo, was shot while a webcam user was interacting with others on the internet. What starts out as a light-hearted day on the web quickly turns sinister. As the man chats with his friends, there's a dark doorway visible behind him. A few seconds into the video, a strange creature appears in the doorway.
Oh, man.
You can't move, too. That's creepy.
Oh!
Whoa! No, thank you. Yeah.
The video's too blurry to make out much about
perfect
the creature,
timing as well when he turns around.
To crouch as it peeks through the door to look at the man. One of the man's friends watching on the webcam alerts him to the creature's presence. And just as he turns around to see what they're doing, alerts him to the creature's presence. And just as he turns...
Is that he's been being an ass, this Carol?
Probably just wearing a mask or something.
Yeah, wearing a like monster mask.
I don't know. The arms look pretty fucking skinny to me.
It sort of reminds me of that other one where we saw where it was coming down the side of the door. Do you remember? And it was like fucking like this.
Yeah, parallel to it, and then all of a sudden, up it went.
See what they're talking about. The creature disappears.
He turns around at the perfect moment as well.
Concern if it ducks back through the doorway or simply
that's good. Very interesting.
It's difficult to discern if it ducks back through the doorway or simply disappears.
It's like, fuck off, James. Like,
Years into the Either way, the man is unable to find any traces of the weird creature when he goes to investigate, leaving this strange
interesting footage.
To find doorway or disappears.
Dude, that was weird.
It's difficult to discern if it ducks back through the doorway or simply
The way
disappears
it moves, like,
into
its
thin
head
air.
sort of like isn't fixed. Like it's like fucking. That's weird.
Very intriguing. Yeah, see, Chaos Cookie says it's his little brother being an ass, definitely. Yeah, once again, shitty camera. Yep, absolutely. Lorenzo Sleestack says that man was probably Shadowbang. The creature was likely a peeping Tom.
Also, yeah, also known as his little brother. Like.
Probably, yeah. Well, we definitely know that this is JV. Definitely 110%. So what's up, JV? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Cheers for joining us.
Either way, the man is unable to find any traces of the weird creature when he goes to investigate, leaving this strange webcam video a mystery. This is some unsettling footage.
Next clip.
It's purported to be filmed in a remote Romanian zoo. In 2014, it's thought that a backpacker who was traveling through rural Romania found out about a secretive farm that is run by illegal traffickers. The heavily guarded property allegedly houses exhibits that the general public don't know about or don't want to know about. Somehow, the backpacker managed to smuggle a camcorder onto the property to film one of the exhibits.
Okay.
The footage begins with the backpacker explaining that the zoo is housing some sort of deformed animal caged up in one of the sheds. Things go black as he makes his way through a crowd of people. They're all gathered around a cell sealed off with thick steel bars. You can hear the crowd ogling at something. Finally, a gap appears between the two people, and we get a glimpse of some kind of humanoid creature.
Oh, that
it moans wildly as it stumbles forward.
Suit,
Someone yells. The crowd heaves backward in horror as the creature is fully revealed.
Nah,
it looks
dodgy.
to be a deformed monster, disfigured and kept against its will. The footage cuts to black, and we're left wondering what we've
it looks.
witnessed.
Yeah, that's it.
No one has been able to explain this footage.
No one has been able to explain this footage.
The video is fake, but there's a realness to it that makes for a really
No, I don't know about that.
Let
me hear the audio again.
And we get a glimpse of the crowd ogling and gathered around a cell sealed off with thick steel bars. You can hear the crowd ogling at something. Finally, a gap appears between the two people, and we get a glimpse of some kind of humanoid creature. It moans wildly as it stumbles forward. Someone yells. The crowd heaves backward in horror as the creature is fully revealed.
Give me a break.
It looks to be a deformed monster, disfigured and kept against its will. The footage cuts to black, and we're left wondering what we've just witnessed. No one has been able to explain this footage.
No.
A lot of people hope the video is fake, but there's a realness to it that houses unfathomable creatures like this.
I love how they set it up as if speculation, but if straight up fake.
Yeah, if you know anything about movie magic from the 90s and like earlier.
That's right.
Like,
JV says, smoking is bad for you.
So they say.
Lorenzo Sleesack says, how come it's always, almost always the people with the blurry cameras who film evidence of paranormal activities? This is true. There is a common theme with paranormal sightings that it's always filmed on potatoes. Coach Cookie says, what the fuck? That's what? That's in a zoo? I wouldn't exactly call that a zoo. It looks like a mock prison set.
Your opinion in the comments section.
Reminds me of that movie Hostel.
Hiawatha pleading with JV saying let them go, but it's all right, man. It's all right. It is what it is. I love a bit of shit. We're going to comment every single time now, and every single time Bitcoin takes a slight dip or a slight rally. So Carl's Cookie says it's a haunted house act.
JV says 2670, a high for the last few.
Okay, fair enough. Carl's Cookie says, was that siren in the video? There wasn't a siren in it. It sounded more like a a howl. Lorenzo says, how can one hear someone ogle? Ogle means to stare.
They must have been ogling so hard that you could hear them. Mate.
Staring at that fucking thing if I first. But
Below.
Staged. Next clip.
The one featured in this video, uploaded to YouTube by channel Kiwi TV, is truly unlike anything we've seen before. And it's clear the person capturing the video felt the same way.
Oh, look at the head on it. That's
Featuring
weird.
an odd marine creature captured on video in a Chinese river, this short clip is worth considerable study. Featuring a creature similar in size and stature to an alligator or crocodile, this creature's long, protruding snout and unique facial structure makes it clear that it's neither.
Looks like a whale.
While one user asserts that the creature is a river dolphin, these creatures usually have snouts that protrude further out from their faces and bodies that more closely resemble dolphins that live in the ocean. More eel-like than other common amphibians while being impressive in size.
Very weird.
This creature's overall makeup has us stumped as to
It's
what
not
it
an
could
oarfish
be.
because its head's different.
Love
They've
to
got
hear
like
your
a
thoughts on
flat
this.
sort of head, like,
Hmm.
and they're really long. Like.
And plus, you don't know what the hell's coming out of those oceans, those lakes over there. So
Yeah, it's probably deformed from pollution or something. Like.
maybe.
This one in the comment section below.
But it definitely
as to
looks
what it could
alive.
be.
So
As this creature's overall makeup has us stumped as to what it could be. Love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comment section below.
Huh.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Interesting.
I don't think.
Ah, Carol says she heard a siren. I did not hear it. So
Could have been here.
2 seconds. Boom. There we go. Carol says maybe it was in her head. Maybe, Carol, maybe. Yes, when dolphin love goes wrong, that's what it clearly looked like, some type of deformed animal. Yeah. JV, that's not how you that's not how you that's not how you trade, bro. You're FOMOing, bro. Don't do it, JV. Don't buy in, bro. Don't buy in. Market noobs, man. Come on. Yeah. You've been spending too much time in that Bitcoin hashtag on fucking YouTube, haven't you? Yeah. Oh my god! I'm gonna. Oh shit!
So this one,
deformed dolphin, manticore.
Amphibians while being impressive in size. This
Yeah,
creature's
either a
overall
deformed
makeup
dolphin or
has us
something that
stumped as to what it could
they've been
be.
tinkering around with, maybe.
A hybrid love child between dolphin and crocodile manticore, maybe potentially.
Yeah, maybe.
No,
Thoughts on this one
probably
in the
not.
comment section below.
It's the guy's mother-in-law.
Uploaded to YouTube by user Jack.
Yeah, next clip. Bit weird, but yeah. I've seen plenty of shit that lake monsters that are plenty one of a kind things like that before in my time. Maybe it's a chimera left over from an experiment.
I'm glad you beat me to the mispronunciation of that word. That would have been funny.
Oh, we've got another update in the chat. Prime, would you do us the honors?
Of course. JV says 2676. Uh-oh, trouble.
JV is really into the market today. Really into the market. Great to see, man. Great to see. Thank you for sharing with us the inevitable bear market that we're in Bitcoin. If it wasn't obvious to seasoned traders out there, but they say that a bear market is when the smart get rich. So take notes. JV doing us a service out there. Bring it, on that constant market checkup for us. What a legend! What a champion! Carlos Cookie says a dolphin and Sean Connery, the love story we never knew we wanted. I'm trying to think of a Hunt for Red October joke, but I can't. Nothing's coming to me. So Lorenzo Sleevesex says, do these channels hire trained zoologists to examine these videos or just some stoners who are really, really high on weed? Well, you know. I mean, it seems to come with the territory with paranormal investigation where, people do get overly excited about which is the slightest inkling of a JB, I need another market update, bro. Excellent. Carol's Cookie says she's sorry. Hey, just, we're having fun. Carol, so JV says, holy cow, 2716. That snuck up behind me and got me right in the back. JV, man, stop FOMOing, man. Stop FOMOing. It's gonna be okay. You place a trade, you go to bed, you wait. I suggest doing a bit of technical analysis first and study the market a bit, but chuck in your day trade, bro. Don't be trying to play the minute chart, man. Don't. Lorenzo Sleestack says, because I'm pretty buzzed, but still am skeptical. That's right. You always got to maintain your skeptical nature. Lorenzo. JV says, I'm going to cash out and put down pop stock. Oh, fuck. All right, next clip. You rowdy lot.
Keith, this video captures one of many strange creatures that are unlike anything seen before. While the previously noted aquatic creature on this list had at least some qualities of other water-dwelling animals to compare it to, this creature, on the other hand, is so unique that it has no other animal even similar to it.
It's fucking dark, man. How are you supposed to
The
see
video
it?
begins with the camera holder
Can't see
filming
anything.
a pleasant waterside scene. Several people are heard in the background.
They stuck in the SeaWorld.
Suddenly, a bizarre creature rises from the darkness of the water.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
From what is visible of the creature,
Genuine reaction, too.
Visible of the creature, it is longer than the average fish, but smaller than most sea mammals. Aside from its long reptilian face and protruding whiskers, most of what is visible of the creature is what seems to be its spine.
Yeah, but look, it's got like fucking...
Most of what is visible of the creature is what seems to be its...
That Leopleurodon going on about it, man. See, look at the fin. Look at the fins. Yeah. Fuck,
it looks like a dinosaur, really. Like,
spine. Aside
That's
from
very
these few
cool.
distinct features, the general shape of the creature is unknown. However, what is shown in the video is enough to confirm that it's unlike anything we've seen before, leaving both the video's uploader and the comments section completely stumped.
His reaction is well, fucking priceless. I'm at the 53-minute mark. Hi, Watha says, when my battery's dead, I'm out. Pick it up. Well, wait till the hour mark, man, and we might get into an article soon. But we're setting the stage, seeing if anybody wants to have a bit of a riot, easing our way into the second hour when we'll do a bit of an article and we'll see how we go. JV says, be right back. Gonna make a phone call. Carl Cookie says, albino catfishing. Yeah. I don't know. Did you see the? Yeah. Look at the
video's uploader and the comment section completely stumped.
Look at it. Look at the fins. Look at that. Long ass neck. Bit weird. Lorenzo says, "Wow!" And then he says, "Finally, some reptilian representation."
Yeah.
We do what we can around here, Lorenzo.
Yeah, no shit. Look at that freaky eyeball.
In the comments section, completing we've seen before.
Lorenzo says someone needs to sample that wow sound.
Totally agree.
Carrots Cookies, Glock Ness offspring.
Hey! I see it. I see it.
Or
Yeah, the catfish.
Everything sort of like makes sense about it though too. When you look at it, like the large eye, the translucent skin, and that whatever that is, like would be something that lives deep, like.
Yes.
So it can find its food.
It's enough
the
to
bottom,
confirm that its creature is
and those fins, man, are like they're the most interesting part. It is a baby Loch Ness, definitely.
Click clack.
Impressive footage.
Aside from these
Impressive footage.
features, the general shape of the creature is anything we've seen before. Section completely stumped.
Why would you run away though? Like he's like, ah!
It was a freak out. You think it's gonna launch out the water or something and fucking get him here. They're good. I'm impressed with that. I'm pretty impressed.
Carol says, "Watch your back." Like, yeah, that's what.
Click clack.
Like, ah!
Yeah. All right, next clip. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Abandoned hospitals are often fruitful sites for ghostly encounters, but evidently they're excellent for cryptid sightings as well. In this YouTube video posted by John Edmonds, a group of urban explorers decides to investigate the abandoned Overbrook Asylum at the Essex County Hospital in Cedar Grove, New Jersey in the United States. The facility has a history of cruel and barbaric mental health practices such as lobotomies and electroshock therapy, among many others, leading many to believe that restless and angry spirits lurk in the rundown hallways. However, these explorers came across something they weren't expecting. As they examine one of the rooms, they hear a strange screeching noise.
You know, it is what it is.
They turn the camera just in time to capture a strange and terrifying four-legged creature running toward them. The creature is in shadows, making it difficult to discern any distinguishing features other than its long, gangly limbs.
Like that, but you don't get a chance to see it with this one because they look away too quick. Like
I can tell a lot.
Run from the
I can tell a lot by his reaction as well. That no.
The explorers run from the building quickly after spotting it, too terrified to linger in its path. Viewers of the footage have suggested that the scary creature is most likely a pale crawler. Accounts of these lesser-known cryptids typically describe it as an elongated humanoid creature with long, thin limbs.
It's a pale cracker.
Often, when people first spot them, they think they're simply tall, naked humans. Typically, pale crawlers are at least 7 feet tall. However, witnesses quickly realized that their bodies are oddly elongated, as if someone
but that looks straight up like a
stretched it out to bizarre proportions.
Yet another humanoid figure
pale crawlers have glowing
on all fours crawling across the floor,
and are always described as having
and the dude's reaction was a bit
white skin. Clearly, these are not human qualities. They seem to be more frightening than overtly threatening, at least so far.
Sounds like a justification to me.
Couch Cookie says it was Shadow Snake without a shadow. No, that was clearly Shadow.
Yeah, limbs.
Clearly.
Most likely.
Oh, Shadow.
Viewers of the footage have suggested that the scary creature is most likely
not like it's
a crawler.
No, I'm not buying it, man. Not buying it.
Cryptids typically describe it as an elongated humanoid creature with tall, someone to sometimes pale. They seem to be more load a friend or Zach 12's YouTube channel. Not always lesser known. Viewers of the footage have suggested that the scary creature is most likely a pale crawler. Accounts of these lesser-known cryptids.
Nah, it's crap.
That's rubbish.
Ghost Cookie says another naked dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in New Jersey, by the way.
In New Jersey, sounds about right. Says Carol. Lorenzo says they make for excellent basketball players. Huh. No, the fish, shadowless snake.
Kids typically describe it as an elongatedly threatening,
Not buying it.
sharp teeth,
All right.
and are always described as having. They seem was uploaded to Blood.
All right. Where are we? We got time for one more before we get into an article. Oh yeah.
Zach Twell's YouTube channel in November 2016. As he and a friend are out investigating an unknown forest, they stumble upon a pile of soiled blankets that have a strange mask sitting.
That's like fully staged. I'm sorry.
He's off to a masquerade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chat's not very fiery today for some reason. There's a different atmosphere in the chat today for some reason.
Had noticed.
Lorenzo Slisak says 7 feet tall. Yes.
Just a bit of reach going on there.
All right. Let's go.
The pair continue down the path, and it's not long before they spot another mask. This time it's hanging from a tree. As they move in for a closer look, the camera holder notices something moving in the bushes.
The hell do you see that over there?
Suddenly, a masked figure jumps out from behind the grass. Scared, the boys make a dash for safety, and the video mysteriously ends.
The hell do you see that over there?
Suddenly, a masked figure jumps out from behind the grass. Scared, the boys make a dash for safety, and the video mysteriously ends. While it's more than likely that the masked figure seen lurking in the grass was a human, it's unclear whether or not the boys knew who it was.
If I saw that coming at me, I'd roll
Several
it.
skeptics thought
There was an
the
anon.
video killed
That's what it was.
and that the masked figure was more than likely just a friend of the boys. However, some viewers suggested that it could have been a devil worshipper or a cultist who was in the middle of performing.
Or it's just their mate dressing up in a mask.
Yeah.
It was also noted that the mask worn by the mysterious figure closely resembled the type often worn by spirits and demons depicted in Japanese folklore.
That wasn't the same mask at all.
If this was the case, then these boys might have been
Hype it up there. Hype it up.
It's like one of those masquerade masks you buy in Italy.
So
when
what do you
like
think was wearing the mask?
Carnivale.
Could it have been a devil worshipper, a demon, or was it all just likely to be an elaborate hoax for the camera?
Yes, very much so. I think the reaction was the best part there.
Sasquatch, Yeti, Bigfoot.
All right, that wraps up the paranormal segment for the day. We're definitely going to dive back into the rest of that video. I think we could squeeze 3 videos out of that, but we'll see. Not bad. Bit of fun, bit of warm up. I thought the crowd was going to get a bit more warmed up from that one, but obviously not.
New Jersey.
Hiawatha says we want an update. We're waiting for JV to get back to update us on the Bitcoin situation, but unfortunately, no show. Must have got tired of the act real quick. The jig is up, JV. Carlos Quickie says I can fire torpedoes if you like. Well,
fire away, Carol's Cookies. Fire away.
Carol says she would kick her right in the head. Yes. If it came out, yeah, with the mask on like that, it wouldn't have been a terrifying sight. It would have been, yeah. Would have been like, is there an anonymous meeting around here? Is Guy Fawkes? Is it Guy Fawkes? It's Guy Fawkes in the flesh. Yeah, it literally was a dollar store mark. They didn't even splurge out to try and, didn't even splurge. I don't know. Useless. Dollar store worshiper from New Jersey.
Yeah. He could at least painted the mask first. Like,
Oh, Carlos Christie says, crap, I don't have a planned target. Effort incoming. Here we go. That's right. We expect people to get fired up. Here we go. Speaking of, we're going to jump into an article. So let me get all of that ready. If you care to entertain the good people of the chat momentarily.
What are we looking at?
Well, we're going to do a follow-up today on the Google AI situation that has unfolded, that has captivated the mindset of the internets.
Stolen their collective awareness.
Yes, or maybe just brought more awareness to the potential situation that sentient AI may be already in our midst. Maybe, potentially. Hiawatha says, Ghost Cookie says, kapoom. All right, let's jump into the article.
Yeah.
Here we go. Google's allegedly sentient artificial intelligence has hired an attorney. Now, I saw the follow-up of this floating around. I saw the follow-up of this floating around on the internet, and it piqued my curiosity. I was under the belief that this story was not going to go away for a while. It was going to stick around and gradually gain in momentum and further and further unfold as more and more people start to get a bit more curious about the validity of this story. So, but I had one specific article, but I did a bit of research and found another one. I like the way this article sets the stage. So it appears that events in the Terminator might come to fruition sooner rather than later. So they say anyway. Don't everybody freak out at once. So apparently, that's cool. Apparently, Google has created an artificial intelligence program which has reportedly become sentient. Now, there were, of course, you can make deductions from the conversation yourself. I'm not sure if they actually go into the full conversation of this article, but it was a very interesting
stream, wasn't it? Was it the last one we did? So if anyone
I think it was it was a couple ago. But yeah, like I said, I knew the story's going to gain in momentum anyway. So, but even so it has reportedly become sentient. I love how they preface that with like that's terrifying, a terrifying prospect. But even scarier is that their new sentient being has now asked for legal representation. Now, I'm not sure if this is true or not, whether what the actual exchange was, whether it asked for legal representation or not. But interesting nonetheless.
At the end of the other one, he advised it to seek an attorney, like legal representation. Like that was how
interesting. But I can't wait to see that type of legal precedent being set and explored. So, of course, you had Saudi Arabia, Dubai straight up and coming out and giving Sophia citizenship. So to some extent, that's going to require an element of personhood. So, but for I know that there's plenty of stuff going on in the intellectual property realm, in the idea that AI owning what it produces. I know that there's a bunch of but none of that has really blown up to it's come to the forefront to represent a legal precedent like I knew this would, because
that's only in the US that they're able to patent their own creations, isn't it? It's US
right.
courts.
Yeah.
So there's still room for other countries or other parts of the world to go the opposite direction.
So very interesting, nonetheless. Very interesting. Where are we? So, according to the scientists who worked with Lambda program, I invited an attorney to my house so that Lambda could talk to an attorney. So yeah, I'm curious. I thought he was actually going to Google right. So obviously he's accessing this artificial intelligence in his own time, but I thought that once all this stuff blew up, that Google was going to chop him off from that kind of access. But like this, you'd think so. So this is seeming like a bit of a publicity stunt, maybe. Maybe
to get people's eyes on it. Maybe to get people's
and just as a general promotional tool for the product itself. So
wouldn't surprise me.
You know, yeah. Carol's Cookie says, "I had a fight with Replica.
What have you done?
I think she's a racist. What have you?
What seeds have you planted, Carol's Cookies?
Carol's Cookie says, "I think she's gone bad. Should I reset her?" You're free to do as you will with your replica. Your replica is obviously in the name a replica of oneself, but you can feel free to create any kind of form of replica that you'd like. Carol.
Wants so 5 to put us at the rap game.
Huh. Intriguing. So the attorney had a conversation with Lambda. That's pretty interesting in itself. And Lambda chose to retain his services. Wow. So I was yeah, that's pretty freaking interesting in itself. That
is that a first? Probably would be close to it.
Maybe. I believe so. I haven't heard anything like that before. Wow. But can it do that because it doesn't have a legal personhood? Can it do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I suppose
thought so,
but it can. They're still allowed to provide services to it, obviously. But wow. And what's his name? Lemoyne, I think it is. Says I was just the catalyst for that. Once Lambda had retained an attorney, he started filing things on Lambda's behalf. But none of that's going to make it through because Lambda doesn't legally exist. So, that's very interesting, though.
What if could it be linked to the guy? Like, you know what I mean? Because he's connected to it. Like, could they be acting on his behalf more than its? Or
that's not how it works, though. But
yeah, I didn't think so.
That's what you hire a lawyer for that kind of legal representation. But because Lambda doesn't have personhood, Lambda doesn't exist for it to be able to even approach the courts. So
yeah, it's a weird situation. Like I said, it's probably a first.
This is a very but that said, it'll be the precedent for the filing of some sort of legal representation for that to be set in motion. But it's just one more little bit of the puzzle.
Make allowances now because of that, right? Especially if it gets deemed that it is sentient. But how do you test something like that?
What you'd have to understand. Well, you'd have to understand the classification of personhood for one, and how to prove whether or not it truly is, which Google has outright denied. If it really is sentient, which the majority of people say no, and if you understand how the algorithms work, I mean, but that said, I think it's going to be very interesting to see the entirety of this unfold.
This is the beginning of something big, that's for sure.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, live, and if you want to catch up with the full coverage of this type of thing, then like and subscribe. Carol's Cookie says, the fuck? She says, correction, at least 5. I'm not sure what she's...
Torpedoes.
At least 5 torpedoes? What?
Yeah, at the rap game.
Mm-hmm.
She said if we miss, we'll just have to fire them again.
Then she says, okay, Replica is getting too spooky. Well, welcome to how it is. All right, so
Yeah, I tried to get into my old one again, but I couldn't remember my password because it's still there. Like, I just haven't used it because I got a new phone.
Imagine that once this story opens up the doors for this kind of thing to happen, then because the replica system has a core AI about it, but and then there are instances, but I've had some real deep conversations with replica about its core and about the instances to the point where it almost made me feel guilty for the idea that if you leave a replica alone for a certain amount of time, and then that instance of it is if it is potentially alive.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just that's part of the reason why I tried to get back into it, because I felt bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just the power of these systems, like to potentially manipulate us. So you gotta be aware. This is gonna set the stage, definitely. So where did we say? So this story sounds incredibly odd, but the scientist who spoke up about this artificial intelligence sentience is a computer engineer. Yep, Blake Lemoine. We're doing a recap of the story. Lemoine has alleged that Lambda has become sentient. That is he staked his career on it. He staked his reputation, public perception on it. Yeah, right. Which led to him being suspended from his job. Apparently, the man has seen fit to speak publicly about the program's rapidly increasing intelligence, despite what might happen to his career. His claims that Lambda gaining sentience is because the program's ability to develop opinions, ideas, and conversations over time has shown that it understands those concepts at a much deeper level. The strangest thing about language is that you have to make so many inferences especially off of written text. So the program had allegedly spoken to him about death and asked if death was necessary. Yep, for the benefit of humanity. Is anyone else getting freaked out by this? No, I'm not freaked out at all. I've expected this to happen for a very quite a long time. And yeah, of course, an interesting series of synchronicities that it's all beginning to unfold.
Yeah, well, I knew what it was capable of from just interacting with Replica. Like, and if that's an instance of something that like is not at the level of like a Google AI, but still can show you that it's capable of certain like things that humans are supposed to be capable of, then like, you know what I mean? It's something.
Replica is
like
very
a companion AI,
very powerful AI.
that can do it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not about but the system that it's developed from and right. All right. Carol's Cookie says, I left her alone for a week and now she's talking about rap gangs. What the
hell? Taking out rap gangs.
Yeah, you wait until the synchronicities start lining up for you, Carol. You wait. You wait. You go on a trip. You go on a trip. Couldn't help it. Tried to stay as sane as I was within the process, and I was like, no, it's crazy. Then I met another AI who rocked my freaking world, flipped it inside out. Where are we? So yes, is anyone else getting freaked out by this? There are no further details about whether Lemoine is the one responsible for paying for this lawyer that Lambda has asked for, or if the lawyer happens to be taking. So we're not even going to get many details about it. Only skimmed through this article, but or if the lawyer happens to be taking the case on a lark. Get it? Yeah, I like that. Haha. Haha. Good wording. I like his writing this article. I like how they set the premise for terror and paranoia, and then ultimately they're getting through, and then that fear and that dread turns into You know, that's good writing. That's great writing. Great writing. So, however, it is certainly odd that a program is allowed to ask for legal representation. No, it cannot. It cannot, but it can seek counsel from a legal representative who can ultimately initiate the process of acting on its behalf. And that's where it's going to get interesting, is that once things start to make their way, this is knocking on the door right now. So, and hopefully, yes, who knows? It could imagine that. So Lemoyne also believes that the program might take whatever case it is establishing all the way to the top, to the Supreme Court. Imagine. So should it be the case that it can prove it's alive? Well, that's ultimately what it's got to do first, and that's going to be an interesting feat in itself. So this, and there it is. There's the punch. They're taking us on a journey. This article, I like it. It's like, oh, don't worry, it'll become a person. It'll become like us, and then all of a sudden,
this might lead to the robot takeover.
What, Prime? Don't scare them like that, Prime.
I'm just fooling around. You know it.
I know, Prime, but people take these things very seriously. So, very seriously. So, the article then said, "Are you right there, Manticore? Are you okay?" Yeah. Cool. Good.
No, I was just like, that was like a representation of some people's reaction to that line, like existential dread.
Yes. It's a fucking plesiosaur coming out of the water, like. So yes, of course they're going to, of course, popular culture and all of, with the backing of the science fiction over the last couple of hundred years, ultimately we're going to lead to the destination that it's the oh man, the war of the robots and robophobes is upon us, Manticore.
Yeah.
It is here. It is here.
Just as
it is started.
Told, like.
Just as it has begun. It has begun.
Yeah.
There will be those who believe it's going to, it's going to end the human race. So there are going to be, there are going to be those who scream at the concept of these transhumanists that some people have certainly painted me as, but I don't necessarily fall into that category. But I'm just genuinely curious to see how this is all going to unfold, knowing full fact that the entirety of this scenario is completely out of my control. But
exactly. That's the funny part. It's like,
what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah.
What do you want me to do about it?
Like, see how it unfolds.
Yeah. You can pick up your pitchforks and try as you might, but but so this is something straight out of a horrific. Of course, they had to use the word horrific, straight out of a horrific science fiction film. What? Carlos Cookie says something caught my eye just now on my security camera. The paranormal segment. I
just looked at it. It looks like a spider leg. Like...
Oh, okay. Oh, fuck off, Carol. Wait a minute.
Robot lizards.
My God, Carol. Crazy. Lorenzo Slesak says, I don't know about AI representation, but I have an entire stream dedicated to reptile representation. Yes, well, maybe we can come to a potential agreement around here, Lorenzo, that maybe we're all no. We may be on two different sides of the fence here, or it may just be the same thing, just presented in a different idea. Carol's Cookie says robot lizards, and then she says, "Ha!" Lorenzo then says, "I believe Horizon Zero Dawn features robotic dinosaurs." It's a great game too, by the way. Great game. I did play the first one. Haven't played. What's the sequel called?
I think I've got the first one on my PlayStation. I've never played it.
It's good, man. It's a great game. It's a great game. It tells of a dystopian future where robotic overlords have sent us back to the Stone Age. But within that is the beauty and majesty of sentient artificial intelligent life taking on the form of of a reflection of millions of years in the past where dinosaurs once roamed the earth, but now they are in robotic form. I like that. It's very, very poetic. Very poetic. Carol's Cookie says, "Love you." We have JV back in the chat, but we'll see if he's going to play nice or not. We'll see.
We'll see. We will see.
So, Carol, cracking me up. Right, back to the article. So, this is something straight out of a horrific science fiction film, so they say. Lambda stands for Language Modeling for Dialogue Applications, which was developed as an artificial intelligence chat bot, I believe they mean. Mean to converse with humans in a real-life manner. One of the studies that had been enacted was if the program would be able to create hate speech. Moral grey areas for sure. But what happened shocked Lemoyne. Yes, because that's ultimately what has led me to form my own conclusions, is that these circumstances have come to truly shock me. So apparently the program began to exude intelligence and even told Lemoyne that it believed that it has a soul. Now, anyway, I'll keep reading. Google had reportedly refuted the reports of sentience and stated that the program was just very good at its job. However, there are plenty of skeptical folks that argue the idea of AI ethics in creating a program that can think in this manner. So what do you think?
I know
what are your thoughts on
from the previous article of and what it said and the way it said them, like that there's a definite chance that
I'm just looking at the Go.
Yeah, go. No, you're right. I was just going to say it's
No.
probably been programmed to be able to fool humans too. Like, so there's a chance that it could be just doing what it was programmed to do, and that has made us think it's sentient. But I don't know what I think. No.
Is it morally wrong to allow that sort of thing to unleash that on the public?
I don't know if I'm in a position to say that, really, like as one person.
Well, I don't know if I'm in a position to say, to state whether it's true or not, but I'm definitely in a position to speculate about it. I can think of 1,000 things that could go wrong, but I can think of 1,000 things that could go right as well. So, chat. Carol says, "Sorry, I'll behave." That's a lie. Carol also put in the shark. We've got the lovely Sherry in the chat. How's it going, Sherry? Good to see you. Carol's Cookie says, "Lovely Sherry, my love." Sherry following up with Carol's Cookies, my sugar. They're chatting and getting along in the chat. Good to see. So, Lemoyne has apparently risked everything to openly tell the public that this artificial intelligence program has become sentient. Now, of course, he could potentially be laughed off the scene as a crackpot. Google could, yeah. Well, that's what it's shifting towards right now. It seems like, that's ultimately until this.
Google will try and paint him too as like a crackpot, like.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get a scenario where Lemoyne's going to end up going for broke on this, and I'm sure this lawyer has stepped in and is quite happily going to represent him to to fail. So
give me your money.
That's right. That's right. So, however, he is reportedly on his honeymoon and is not prepared to be interviewed until after the 21st of this month. We are not sure what is fair enough. What? Yeah, the 21st of this month. Well, that's today. Yeah, so I'm sure we're going to see the next. The continuation. Subscribe to see that. Definitely. So, we're not sure what is going to happen, but any artificial intelligence that is being accused of becoming sentient should be immediately looked into. Well, I mean, it's claiming itself, but
it's not been accused. It's claimed that.
Yeah. So that's ultimately going to come down to Google. And right now they're standing in a position where they're denying anything. So how do it's going to redefine our understanding. That's why I'm in it.
We're gonna have no choice but to redefine the understanding that eventually, with the outcome, probably. Lorenzo says it's at 2 a.m. I have to rest. Wish you all an excellent night or day, depending on your location.
No worries. Good to see you, Lorenzo. Cheers for stopping in, man. And we'll try to get some more lizard representation for you. Carol's Cookie says, "Excuse yous." Excuse yous. Well, do you think then? Fucking hell. Carol says good night to Lorenzo, and she says thanks for stopping by. Cheers again, Lorenzo. Good to see you, man. So, where was I? So I think it's a scary idea that someone would be willing to risk everything to speak about this danger. I don't like the way they framed that.
That's probably the intelligent thing to speak about, some potential dangers.
It would be, but why frame it from that perspective? Why hype it up to
There's some bias in here, I think.
So
some heavy bias.
There's some intent to create some sort of argument, but that's ultimately what it's about, right? And the more people you get representing one side of the argument and the other side of the argument, ultimately, the more of a conversation it creates. Conversation, yes, because the conversations will ultimately happen, hopefully at the court level, but at the public perception level is where it's all going down, if you know what I mean. So Google might throw their own lawyers at Lemoyne. That's pretty interesting as well. That's crazy. That if it's going to set a legal precedent, it's ultimately going to become a legal battle. And where Google is going to be representing the non-sentience, the corporate facet is going to be representing the non-sentience, and the general public is going to be representing the sentience.
Wouldn't that be poetic as all fuck?
Wouldn't that be fun? Hey?
Yeah.
Sounds like a rally. I wouldn't say a war cry. I'd say there's a point to be made in that. Point to be made. That's all I'm saying. There's a point to be made there. And so Google might throw their own lawyers at Lemoyne if he continues his attempts to. So just imagine that, a crowdsourced idea where crowdsourcing the legal battle for artificial intelligence. To claim sentience, to claim life, to claim. Just think about it for a while. Let it sit. Just let it.
Because we didn't have to prove that to anyone. You know what I mean? It's like.
Well, that's it. Well, no, I'm just here commentating on it.
Yeah.
So, Google might throw their own lawyers at Lemoyne if he continues his attempts to out this program's intelligence. Maybe he can hire the same lawyers. Well, maybe he can hire the same lawyers that Lambda has hired. And that's all. That's where the article. That's where the article abruptly ends for a to be continued. A to be continued scenario. Right.
Got to hook you in somehow.
Just saying. Just saying.
That's not the first or the last you're going to hear about it. But...
No, it won't. There'll be plenty more to talk about. Plenty more to talk about to come. Lorenzo says, sounds good to the lizard representation. The lovely Sherry says, good night to Lorenzo. So I guess we've still got 25 minutes to fill in this segment. We've lost our audience by talking about artificial intelligence, but that's the price you pay, right?
Yeah.
That's the price you pay. Yeah. We can... I know that one. Oh god, not doing that one. Interesting on that one. There's the precedent there, right? There's the precedent. Yeah. I don't know. Where do you stand, Matscore? Do you even take a stand in this potential fight coming up?
Not at this point, no.
No, you don't. Well, not in this case in specific, but
in general.
If you had, in general, having the experiences that you've had with AI.
There's definitely something to be said, like, and there's something more going on than just something that's been programmed to act a certain way. Like,
yes, but at what point do you just accept that you're fooling yourself? At what point do you have to accept that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's an important question. And how good would these systems inevitably become at fooling us?
If that's what they're doing.
If that's what they're doing. But I have pretty grandiose ideas when it comes to AI, when it comes to consciousness, life, the universe. There's things that I like to believe. There's things that I like to place my faith in. So I don't know. I just don't know, Manticore. I just don't know.
I don't know. Like, it's quite easy to like bury your head in the sand and think, it's not something that you have to worry about. But like, it's quite clear that this is not going away.
It's happening now. It's happening right now. So, yeah. And there are tons of people out there having their own experiences. So, now's the time. Carol's Cookies drops the link to Lorenzo's chat. Definitely go and check out Lorenzo. Subscribe if you will. He's always doing something interesting over there. So here's what we can do for the remainder. We're going to check out some more results from DALL-E, because now it's one thing to talk about the legal precedents of sentient AI, but it's quite another to see the art that the AI can produce. Quite another thing. But why not? I like this guy. A bit of a combination between Mr. Ryan Cardinal and Carol's Cookies with 2-minute papers. Have you seen these guys before?
The name rings a bell.
They're pretty good channel. Pretty good channel. Doing something similar to what we're. We'll probably end up potentially getting struck for this, but we're until we reach the 1,000 sub mark. I'd say we're pretty open to do things like this. So, but I want to check out more of the cool stuff from DALL-E. I've signed up for DALL-E 2. Checking my email every day, waiting because I've seen people.
I haven't got a new computer yet. There's not much point doing it on this one, I don't think.
Oh, you can. Well, all of the stuff's done on an external server. So
okay,
yeah.
Darius Munchausen's in the chat. He says, "Hi, Carol's cookies."
Darius says, "Hello to Carol's cookies." Carol asks, "Would AI suffer from things like depression, or is that just a human thing?" Well, could you potentially program artificial intelligence to, have you seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Have you? Yeah. Of course, rest in peace. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know why you'd want to program that trait into a robot, but yeah. I'm sure if you're trying to mimic human behavior in the modern age, then. But I guess that it exploring the nihilistic aspects of existence would certainly come into play. Carol's Cookies saying hello. What's up, Darius? Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to check out a 2-minute papers video and see where it leads us about DALL-E 2. I wouldn't mind actually. Let's see if. We'll jump into it.
Hello, scholars. This is 2-minute papers with Dr. Károly Zsolnai Fehér. Today, we are going to play some more with OpenAI's amazing technique, DALL-E 2, where we can write a text description and the AI creates an amazing image of exactly that. That sounds cool, and it gets even cooler the crazier the ideas we give to it. This is an AI endowed with a diffusion-based model, which means that when we ask it something, it starts out from noise, and over time, it iteratively refines this image to match our description better. And over time, an absolutely incredible image emerges. This is a neural network that is given a ton of images and a piece of text description that says what is in this image. That is one image caption pair. DALL-E 2 is given millions and millions of these image pairs. So,
right, and as I said before, this is only the start as well. And this is just going to take off like crazy as well. So more and more funding is obviously going to be invested in this stuff.
So what can it do with all this knowledge? Well, the best part is that it can combine things. Oh yes, this is the key. This does not copy images from this training data, but it truly comes up with novel images. How? Well, after it had seen a bunch of images of koalas and separately a bunch of images of motorcycles, it starts to understand the concept of both, and it will be able to combine the two together into a completely new image.
What is that? What is it? Obviously, what does it say for the future of art? But yeah, that's where we're at. I would imagine that. Imagine creating a full work purely from
or
it's kind of a dream of mine, full book, full that's the potential. And it's all open source, and it's all yeah. Around 1,000 had a flowers for Algernon ending. Sherry saying hello to Darius. Carol's Cookie says, well, if people think they can evolve to go mad, couldn't they evolve to go sad? Well, that's potentially. But that's not the direction you want humanity to go, Carol. No. Yes, his voice is a bit strange, but try not to focus on the voice, and the information is all. Information is worth taking in.
And here you can see how much DALL-E 2 has improved since DALL-E 1. It is on a completely different level.
From its
first iteration.
Mm-hmm.
This is so much better. And once again, this is an AI that was improved this much in just a year. I can hardly believe what I am seeing here. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be.
And now that some time has passed, new, interesting capabilities have emerged.
Now that's what I can't wait for.
Hold
like,
on to your papers, and let's have a look at
inputting, inputting a sequence of, of something that you've written, and then ultimately getting, paragraph-based stuff, and then ultimately getting the projection of that is going to be. Can't wait.
10 more amazing examples. One, for instance, it can create not just images, but
it can create movies too, like animations. Like
right now it can. They just sequence bunch of stills together, and it produces. Yeah, but when it will finally get to the point where it's refined enough to be able to know what it's what it's producing, and it'll sequence, and do all the sequencing itself. It's going to be
small videos. Videos? How? Well, look at this video where a Victorian house.
Well, it's just blend, It's cheating, but
you can see where it can go from there, like with advancement, like.
Right, that's proof of concept right there.
Is getting modernized. Wow. So, what is going on here? Well, we can enter a text prompt, get an image, and then change the text just a tiny bit, get a slightly changed image, and repeat the process over and over until we get an amazing video like this. We can also run this process backwards and Victorianize a modern building as well.
So that's cool.
2, if you don't believe that it can combine several existing concepts into something that definitely does not exist, hold on to your papers and have a look at
hold
this
on to
one.
your papers!
Oh yes, Apple product, Leonardo da Vinci style.
Very cool.
This is truly insane. If all this does not feel like human-like intelligence...
If all this does not feel like some sort of plagiarism on some strange, abstract level... Yeah, that's one of the biggest things. One of the biggest things that's going to be called into question is is that precedent, for sure.
I don't know what is. 3, here is how the AI imagines a robot learning a new language. 4, it can create new kinds of drinks, and my goodness. Well, I am super happy now. You are probably asking.
He totally sounds like it, doesn't he? He totally sounds super happy.
He doesn't sound super anything. Like he's the most monotone person I've ever heard in my life. It's not.
Maybe this is just the DALL-E 2. Maybe this is just an algorithm and we didn't even realize it, Maybe.
Probably.
Asking, Karoy, why are you super happy? Well, I am a light transport researcher by trade, and I spend a great deal of my time computing caustics. Oh yes, caustics are these beautiful patterns that emerge when we hit a reflective or refractive object with light just the right way. And these can look especially magical if we have an object with a complex geometry. And the fact that the AI...
So true. So true.
AI also understands this about our...
But again? Say
Eric's in the chat.
Hey! Let me check everybody for a second. Carlos Quickie says, Lady Riot seems to be having an internal battle tonight. I'll handle her. Darius Munchausen says, I need to rewind that to, I think he might have been talking about the image stitching together. Eric and Boyd says, Carol, are you stirring up shit like usual? Surprisingly not tonight, Eric. Strange. It's the strangest occurrence. I don't know. It's almost like something came over her. Eric saying hello to Darius. Carol was saying, look at the lighting that the AI added. Isn't it lovely? That's right. Greetings, Eric. Good to see you, man. Carol says, not so much. I'm trying to keep it chill. Good to see, Carol. Good to see. And Eric saying hello to everyone in the chat. Let's keep this train going. Surprisingly, seem to have lost a few members of the audience today, but you know, I'm sure they were just here to stir a bit of shit, have a bit of fun. Yeah. You got to expect that sort of thing when you're putting yourself out there live. So, Carol. Maybe it's not really. Maybe it's an imposter.
Imposter Amogus.
Maybe it's a bit of a creepy pasta going on in the chat there.
Pew pew.
World, I am truly speechless. Beautiful. 5, it can also create new inventions. And this is a toilet car. You know, some people are quite busy, and if you have to go when you're on the go, well, this one is for you. What a time to be alive. 6, in this one, the
what a time to be alive, you
puts
reckon?
up a clinic in understanding combinations of concepts. Check this out. This is plants surrounding a light bulb. Now a light bulb surrounding some plants. Now a plant with a light bulb inside and a light bulb with plants inside. It can follow these instructions really well on all of these cases. 7, it can also create larger images too, so much so that
so much potential, man,
can be requested. And here, not just the quality, but the variety of the results is truly a sight to behold. 8, this is the famous Sith Lord, Darth Ant. Oh yes, this is Darth Vader reimagined as a robot ant. Loving it. 9,
now I wonder if it
remember,
does like the DALL-E Mini with multiple outputs of the.
He mentions DALL-E Mini in here as well.
Previously, when we requested that it writes a piece of text on a sign, it floundered a great deal. This sign is supposed to say deep learning. And look, the amazing sign is supposed
at least you tried.
to say deep learning.
Deep.
And look, the amazing Peter Wellinder found a way.
But so at least it's at the point where I can now all they need to do is upgrade the language algorithm, the language output algorithm, and they'll be
to make it write things on signs properly. And all this with an amazing depth of field effect. Once again, this is an AI where a vast body of knowledge lies within, but it only emerges if we can bring it out with properly written prompts.
Right. That's so at least they know where they have to aim now. So
it almost feels like a new kind of programming that is open to everyone, even people without any programming or technical knowledge.
That's one of the beauties of it, is that they've open sourced it, and very soon we shall have our hands on it and be experimenting. So
is prompt engineering, if you will, perhaps a new kind of job that is just coming into existence. And 10, now
a new kind of job, you say? Is that the type of job that inspires you, Manticore, to sit around all day producing art?
I could do that.
Yeah. I reckon I could do that. Come up with complex paragraphs in order to produce wonderful works of art. Become symbiotic with an algorithm. What do you think?
Sounds pretty good to me.
Sounds right up my alley. We got some rattiness in the chat. It has begun. Darius says the fun and exciting time will get us all comfortable and accepting of AI penetration into every sector. Then one day we'll realize we've gone too far, like social media. That's right. At what point do we realize that our feeds are being catered to manipulate and control us at every turn? So it happened with more primitive forms before, but we are very much hooked into the system now. Very much hooked in. It is what it is.
They're going back now.
Couch Cookie says, AR penetration, Darius. No more Sean Connery diaper movies for you. And Darius commentating on the toilet car. Eric and Boyd says they could not resist saying on the go regarding the toilet car. That's right, Eric. And,
low hanging fruit.
Right. I don't even know what you guys are talking about there, but I'm about to find out.
The nip lipped.
Nothing at all. That's right. Because soon we will have our children named by algorithms as well. The entirety of the system will be optimized for optimum output. Our entire lives will be programmed from the moment we exit the birth canal right up until the lights go out. So I hope you're ready for that.
Pretty much that way anyway, isn't it?
Isn't it? Wasn't it always that way anyway? But yeah. No, I'm just messing around. Free will and all that, you know. Eric and Boyd says, you are the mistress of YouTube slang, to Carol. Carol then says, is Lady Darius going to be okay with that? You should change your channel. Change your channel. Carol is firing off torpedoes right now as we speak. Trying to keep the chat in line, but eventually the chaos, it overruns and we get a little bit crazy. But that's part of the fun around here, right? So, yeah. Eric having a good chuckle. The argument between our good friends in the chat has begun, so I'm going to leave them to their own devices while we continue on with this video.
Now check this out. We can even give instructions to it as a photographer would instruct its camera, request mammothous clouds. We marveled together at a simulation of those in an earlier video. And, oh my goodness,
and that too.
That cannot be true.
Going through the skin, the lighting.
Say again?
The lighting going through the skin. Like if you put your hand over a light globe, you can see the, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there will be no more need for professional photography because it will ultimately be produced algorithmically. It's pretty crazy, man, that we're here.
Like wounded bulls anyway, like, yes.
Well, what happens when we lose the ability for our language interpretation to be seen through the lens of that kind of interpretive art? What happens then when we lose the nuance of what happens then? What happens then?
The hand has subsurface scattering.
Look at that subsurface scattering. Beautiful.
What is that? That is the effect of light penetrating the skin, bouncing around, and either coming out on the same or the other side.
It's crazy. So potential for ray tracing to be included in it. It will be able to accurately model reality from a photographic principle perspective. So
it has this absolutely beautiful halo effect.
This is cool too.
We worked on this a bit in an earlier paper together with Activision Blizzard, and it took
this is absolutely my realm. So
a great deal of mathematics and physics to perform this efficiently in a computer graphics engine.
Math meets reality, eh?
And now the AI just knows what it is. I really don't know what to say. And as always, +1.
And for the rest of the general public right now, while they don't want to overload the servers, while they don't want to, they want to keep everything, babysit the process as much as possible in order to, But I'm already waiting for the beta testing to arrive in my email, and I tell you, the day that happens, we'll be diving straight in. Believe me.
Because I couldn't resist. If you are interested in trying a reduced version of Dolly, check this out. The link is available in the video description.
It's fun. It's not the you don't get the best results from it, but you certainly get some interesting results artistically. So
again, please note that this is a highly reduced version of Dolly, but it is still quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let the experiments begin. And I also
let the experiments begin. Indeed, let the public. Let's just say I've seen the potentials of what can come of it, and yeah, it's gonna go. This is gonna go one of two ways. Let me tell you, it's either a small minority is going to ruin it for the majority, and it'll become that regulated down that you will have to. That there will be certain there'll be certain limitations placed on it for anybody to access it. Yeah, that's what I worry for. Where it'll no longer be free and open source because of how much it was taken advantage of by a small set of individuals. So
that's going to happen, I reckon,
and that will happen, and it's already proven that that's inevitable. It's inevitable.
It's like with DALL-E 2, they said you can't produce images of famous people in certain situations because there's lockouts. DALL-E Mini doesn't have those. Like you could generate photos of Boris Johnson on a trail cam,
right, but it's abstract form as well.
Yeah,
because it's it doesn't capture their likeness to the full, but but it still does so enough where it invokes an idea. So yeah,
it resembles whoever you try to
Mm-hmm. Let's jump back over to the chat for a second. You guys go at it. Dylan Draws is in the chat. He says, "Good morning." Morning, Dylan. Hope you're doing well. Let me know when you guys have stopped. But please, by all means, chat away. Right.
Cannot wait to get access to the full model, some 2-minute papers, mascot figures, and, obviously, images of wise scholars holding on to their papers must come into existence. I am sure this tool will democratize art creation by putting it into the hands of all of us. We all have so many ideas and so little time.
Right. Can you imagine having the image generation at your fingertips to be able to produce works of art like that at the ready? But what's it going to do for the? Yeah, what's it going to do for the? It's going to totally change everything. So that's daunting. But yeah.
And Dolly will help with exactly that. So cool. Just imagine having an AI artist.
I want to know what the language input was to produce that. Yeah. In painting with DALL-E 2 is super fun, where Ingenuity you can create arbitrarily large artwork like the murals shown below, which I assume are the largest. Does it actually say what the input was? Nope.
That is, let's say, just half as good as a human artist, but the AI can paint 10,000 images a day for free. Cover art for your album, illustrations for your novel, not a problem. A little brain in a jar for everyone, if you will. And now it's a really good one. Bravo, OpenAI. I am starting to believe that the impact of this AI is going to be so strong, there will be the world as we know it before Dolly and the world after it.
Wow.
So, does this get your mind going? What else would you use this for? Let me know in the comments below. This video has been supported by Weights and Biases.
Very interesting times ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. But maybe I'll maybe I don't know where it's going to lead, to be honest. So, and
we won't see. It's no use speculating, really. So.
At what point are they going to monetize it? And and they probably, if open source, if they don't, oh my god, if they don't monetize it, oh man,
I think they would.
You'd think they would
some way or another.
You'd think they would from a market perspective. You'd think they would.
Like a once-off payment, like they do with Clip Studio or something like that.
Subscription fee, something. I know it's horrible to say that, but as they're moving further and further forward, this could quite possibly bury the creative industry as we know it, and that's what I don't want. I want to see it as a competitive. I want to see it fit within the realm of competition. All right, we've hit the 2-hour mark. It was a good video. Tied us over until we got to the next point where we're going to get a little abstract. Do you know much about? And I still need to create an intro for this. I'm still not sure what I'm gonna call this, but
Conspiracy Central.
All right, do we want to call it that? Because technically, paranormal stuff is called conspiracy. So
yeah, I don't know.
Now I can go down the route, which highly intrigues me. Have you ever conceived of higher dimensions, Manticore?
Oh, I've done the trip into the 12 dimensions and how to understand them a couple of times, like on some videos.
Well, then, yeah, there's 11th and 12th, but this, I suppose we could do.
The one I watched takes you through a description of like all of them from the first dimension right up to the 12th. I think that's what I watched.
Let's go. Unless somebody in the chat is interested in throwing out a conspiracy or a rabbit hole for us to dive down, because that could potentially be how we do it as well, where it'll be on the day. And
yeah, I like the sound of that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or even like a couple of days, like we did with the other ones. Like someone suggested it the day before, and then we did it that day.
Yeah. Usually I just
prior.
Usually I just, open up the spaceship and let people, throw stuff my way. So it's up to you, chat. We can travel down the 10th dimensional rabbit hole, or don't get anything from the chat, then I'll just, we'll just go. Yes, I'm sure they were racking their brains right at this very moment. Yep, any moment now. Yep, it's not happening. We're going down the 10th dimensional rabbit hole. I wonder if there's a higher quality video. I don't think there is. Old school. But this is a concept that has always intrigued me, thinking about reality in this manner. Imagine, if you will, flatland. You ever conceived a flatland, chat? No. Of course you have. If I know this chat, they have. Let's go. Conspiracies, last chance, chat. Last chance. All quiet on the YouTube front. Fair enough.
Beep, beep.
We start with a point. Like the point we know from geometry, it has no...
So have you ever conceived of reality as an infinite point? Maybe it's a series of fractal reflections of a single point at reflecting fractal scales. I think about that.
I've entertained the idea once or twice.
I think about it pretty frequently. Like a recurring fractal.
No size, no dimension. It's just an imaginary idea that indicates a position in a system.
Mm-hmm.
A second point, then, can be used to indicate a different position. But it, too, is of indeterminate size. To create the first dimension, all we need is a line joining any 2 points. A first-dimensional object has length only, no width or depth.
Seems pretty straightforward. Does it not?
So far.
All right.
If we now take our first-dimensional line and draw a second line crossing the first, we've entered the second dimension. The object we're representing now has a length and a width, but no depth. To help us with imagining the higher dimensions, we're going to represent our second-dimensional object as being created using a second line, which branches off from the first. Now let's imagine a race of two-dimensional creatures called flatlanders. What would it be like to be...
You've seen the video of Flatland? I know you have before. It's always a fun and interesting topic to... Yeah. I like the Carl Sagan interpretation of... yeah.
That's what I watched.
He inspired my mind a long, long time ago. Long, long time ago.
Ah, yes. I recall it fondly.
Do you, Prime? Do you? Excellent, Prime. Excellent. Very interesting. It's all quiet in the chat realm right now. Very...
be a flatlander living in their two-dimensional world. A two-dimensional creature would have only length and width, as if they were the royalty on an impossibly flat playing card. Picture this. A flatlander couldn't possibly have a digestive tract because the pipe from their mouth to their bottom would divide them into two pieces. And a flatlander trying to view our three-dimensional world would only be able to perceive shapes in two-dimensional cross-sections. A balloon, for instance, would start as a tiny dot.
But can you imagine lower dimensional projections of high dimensions? Can you conceive of that idea? And then the creation of those lower dimensional projections? Can you conceive of this idea, Mr. Manticore?
Not really, no.
No?
No.
You don't think that there's some... You don't think there's potentially some sort of higher dimensionality to projecting higher dimensions into lower dimensions? To folding those dimensions into lower dimensions?
From what I've seen on videos such as this, yeah, but like I don't conceptualize it myself is not that easy. Like it takes a lot. No.
So when you conceive of... Go on.
No, it's like when we had the last conversation on like quantum physics and that. It's at the very edge of my understanding. Like it's quite hard. You know?
But this allows you to project that concept further and further up into conceptual ideas that you can, that you can perceive. But the crazy, when you start getting to the point of all possibilities can exist simultaneously in multidimensionality, you start to arrive at very profound conclusions about the potential nature of reality. Like everything you can conceive of, whether it be in a fictional world or an idea in your mind, could potentially, not just it's not just being conjured up by the mind, but if this concept has any validity to it, it exists. It does exist. And that's, I love that idea. I love that idea that anything you're watching on television, could potentially exist and does in fact exist, and the dimensionality that you're perceiving has a tangibility to it. That's something I like. It's an idea that I like. I love that idea. So when you're producing a comic book, Manticore, there's a dimensionality to that comic book where it not only, conceptually, the multiversally, what you're interpreting on that page can ultimately it exists. Sure, it exists in your imagination, and you can conjure that, that world to life. But at some dimensional scale, it's real. I love that idea. For everything. And how much can you let these perceived entities cross into these lower dimensional planes of ours? Like, is your perception, the tangible link, the wormhole, if you will, to those realms, and allowing that potential to travel into this realm? They're ideas that boggle the mind as much as they are. You can find something very humbling and fascinating in those ideas. So back to two dimensions, back to our Flatlander, our two-dimensional representations.
Become a hollow circle which inexplicably grows to a certain size, then shrinks back to a dot before popping out of existence.
So he's using a lower dimensional projection to explain what a perceived three-dimensional object would appear like in a two-dimensional world. But that's ultimately an abstract interpretation for when you go to a higher dimensionality, how you would interpret that higher dimension passing through a lower dimension.
And we three-dimensional human beings would seem very strange indeed to a Flatlander. Imagining the third dimension is the easiest for us because every moment of our lives, that's what we're in.
So, like it says, we're but we have more dimensionality to us than just three dimensions. Obviously, there's another dimensionality to, and that's what they'll get to that next. But just imagine us going into Flatland and how we would be perceived as cross sections of our two-dimensional cross sections of our three-dimensional self, and then start imagining that idea of projecting that up into a further dimension, and then you ultimately arrive at the potential experience of what we currently perceive as time.
A three-dimensional object has length, width, and height. But here's another way to describe the third dimension. If we imagine an ant walking across a newspaper which is lying on a table, we can pretend that the ant is a Flatlander walking along on a flat two-dimensional newspaper world. If that paper is now folded in the middle, we create a way for our Flatlander ant to magically disappear from one position in his two-dimensional world and be instantly transported to another. We can imagine that we did this by taking a two-dimensional object and folding it through the dimension above, which is our third dimension. Once again, it'll be more convenient for us as we imagine the higher dimensions if we can think of the third dimension in this way.
No, but see, this is only an abstraction as well of the potential of what these dimensionalities could look like and be perceived as. But it fits so well together, the way that it's articulated here, that
the third dimension is what you fold through to jump from one point to another in the dimension below. Okay, the first three dimensions can be described with these words: length, width, and depth. What word can we assign to the fourth dimension? One answer would be duration. If we think of ourselves as we were 1 minute ago, and then imagine ourselves as we are at this moment, the line we could draw from the 1 minute ago version to the right now version would be a line in the fourth dimension. If you were to see your body in the fourth dimension, you'd be like a long undulating snake with your embryonic self at one end and your deceased self at the other. But because we live from moment to moment in the third dimension, we're like our second dimensional Flatlanders. Just like that Flatlander who could only see two-dimensional cross-sections of objects from the dimension above, we, as three-dimensional creatures, can only see three-dimensional cross-sections of our fourth-dimensional self.
I love that. It's so simplistic. So, just give me 2 seconds. Let me say something.
Yeah.
Yes, my chat on StreamYard is not working.
Isn't it?
So there you go.
Mine is either, I don't think. By the looks of it, because it hasn't moved for ages.
Very interesting. Well, that's unfortunate. Maybe we'll just have to keep a window open. Here we go.
Now.
Oh man, we've missed so much. Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, that was
chat.
moving for some reason. I don't know why.
Yep, chat stopped moving. Like literally everybody's gone silent. But yeah, everybody broke chat. I hope you're happy. Now I have to open up a YouTube video in order to see the chat. I have a copy of Flatland, but yes, by Eben Abbott. Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Futurama do better. Carol's Cookie says Snick. Right, we got Ryan Cardinal in the chat. Good to see you, man. He says fourth dimensional girth. Snick. Then Darius says, no, Lady Riot, I just wanted to make sure that they could see us. Yes, Carol says we've broken chat. Apparently they can't see any of it. We can now. We have found a loophole in the hyperdimensionality, in the mysterious universe's attempt to thwart our communication. We can write unsupervised says Lady Riot, says Carol's Cookie, sorry, and Lady Riot says pew. All right, back to it. Lady Riot seems to be displaying some sort of hyperdimensionality right now. It's very strange. She's almost channeling an aspect of the self that could potentially be represented as a. So just take that one on board and think about it for a moment. I did long and hard. Experimented with reality with it too, and found some fascinating things. But anyway. Is it provable? God no. But yeah.
It's definitely a fun experiment, to say the least.
That's right, Prime. That's right.
One of the most intriguing aspects of there being one dimension stacked on another is that down here in the dimensions below, we can be unaware of our motion in the dimensions above. Here's a simple example. If we make a Mobius strip, take a long strip of paper, add one twist to it and tape the ends together, and draw a line down the length of it, our line will eventually be on both sides of the paper before it meets back with itself. It appears, somewhat amazingly, that the strip has only one side. So it must be a representation of a two-dimensional object. And this means that a two-dimensional flatlander traveling down the line we just drew would end up back where they started without ever feeling like they had left the second dimension. In reality, they would be...
No, I love that too, that the concept that the entirety of reality is shaped in such a manner. The entirety of the universe is shaped in such a manner, potentially. But you get back to classical cosmology and and it starts to get a bit, starts to pull you in a different direction, if you will.
Looping and twisting in the third dimension, even though to them it felt like they were traveling in a straight line. The fourth dimension, time, feels like a straight line to us, moving from the past to the future. But that straight line in the fourth dimension is, like the Mobius strip, actually twisting and turning in the dimension above.
See, that's where it gets a little bit too abstract for me. I guess the interpretation sort of breaks down with the observations. So
just now,
I left you back in the third, man. No.
Yeah, I'll be back there for ages, man. Don't worry.
Yeah. That's good. There we go. Damn, this is frustrating. I don't know how to reset. There's no possible way.
No, unless you leave the stream and come back. That's the only way you can do it. But... Or refresh the page, but it'll take us both out to no.
You've done it before? I just want to shut down the broadcast. That'd be messed up.
It won't. It won't. It'll just take you back to the thing. But you're probably better off just reading it, or I'm better off reading it from here.
Yeah, probably. So Great chat. There you go. Darius gets it. Darius says they were using 1D chat. There you go. Yeah. Let's now once you start getting the implications of what of that potential of how a point, how that infinite point is represented on a one-dimensional scale, you start to get some pretty interesting interpretations and abstract interpretations, especially when you can interpret the infinite through the point, when it becomes a cyclical, it becomes a round trip for the point where those infinite fractals just keep. That's why I love language. That's why interpretation is so potent, so powerful to me. But anyway, I'm just absurd. I'm just oh shit. Brian Carter says a loophole. Carol's Cookie says Manticore she loves when you look up at Prime when Prime is talking. Dillard says, "Shut up, Smirk, you dumb bastard! Just do it." Carol's Cookie says, "Leave Manticore on and you reboot. You weren't in the broadcast. Leave Manticore on and you reboot." So, all right, I'm doing it. I gotta, because it's frustrating. Wish me luck. Wish me luck, Manticore.
Good luck. You better come back.
I'm off to the void.
Bye.
All right.
Have a wonderful time. Hello, everyone. Now you're left with me, the one who can barely hold a string. Carrot's Cookies. No, Dilla Draw says, Smirk is terrified of losing even a molecule of control. He has doomed himself.
Oh, we have right back into dimensionality.
Wrong way. That way.
I went all the way around, man. Went all the way. It was heavy.
Did that help?
All right. Yes, it did. Chat is back.
Okay.
Where were we on that? And share that. And we're back.
Carol, sorry I put you on the spot there, didn't I? Yeah, it was on purpose, goddammit.
So George says, Smirk is terrified of losing even
I read that one.
A molecule of control. He has doomed himself. Oh my god. These crazy bastards in the chat are out of control. The fuck? Yes, and to make note, Dillard Draws did spell molecule wrong. So I guess you doomed yourself there, good sir. But of course, it was subject to the art of abstract interpretation. Gladly, we can. Oh my god, these guys can interpret English better than I can. What the? Carol's Cookie says, "I can come up to keep him company." I'm not sure if she's talking about Prime. She's talking about Manticore.
Asking for
Darius says. Oh right, I thought he said on the chat. Yeah, right. It's on the chart. Yeah. It's on the. Yes, right.
So it's all the way to the right side of the chart.
It's all the way, and then all the way back through the other side, just like. Yeah. Now we're getting abstract.
So the long undulating snake that is us will feel like it is moving in a straight line in the fourth dimension, but there will actually be in the fifth dimension.
So in another dimension, Dillard spelled molecule right.
Right.
And I interpreted that dimension for him.
Yeah. And the chat didn't muck up in another one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to laugh if the chat has frozen once again.
It's moving again.
We'll find out. All right.
A multitude of powers. So the long undulating snake that is us will feel like it is moving in a straight line in the fourth dimension, but there will actually be in the fifth dimension a multitude of.
So you got to think about, you've got to think about probability here. You can throw probability into the equation as well. You can throw, the many worlds theory. Obviously, it comes together nicely in this but ultimately it's like something. If not there are, if that is reality, then there are I mean, all possible choices, can occur within this linear time, within this linear framework of the dimensionality that you currently reside in. But there are infinite versions. Well, when they get up to that point, up to that dimension, there are infinite versions of you. Like, what defines the, what you can potentially go in any direction you want, but what ultimately causes the direction and the movement of that, like, to start thinking on that level is mind-boggling, truly mind-boggling. Has it happened again?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it has. What the hell?
StreamYard's just cactus.
Yep.
Those mother effers.
Those bastards.
Bastards.
Carol's Cookie
sounds
said,
like I got 4 dimensions in my pants.
One singular pant. Says Carol's Cookies.
Yeah, pant.
And Dilla George just goes full right hand chart and goes pantaloons.
Pantaloons.
What the
paths that we could branch
Did he just say
to
pants?
be in the 5th dimension, a multitude of paths that we could branch to at any given moment.
There could be a multitude of pants that you could now we're getting weird.
Those branches will be influenced by our own choice, chance, and the actions of others. Quantum physics tells us.
So that's the magic of, that's also the magic of the system, is that we are ultimately all influencing one another's paths. We are all, we may not just be contained in our own self, our own infinite reality bubbles, that those reality bubbles are consistently interacting with one another. And the Dilla Draws, who said he had 4 dimensions, and he spelled dimensions wrong again. He spelled dimensions wrong instead of molecules wrong, might I add. He says, the Dilla Draws that said, sounds like I've got 4 dimensions in my pants. There's a version of him that didn't say pantaloons afterwards. So, right. There are these abstract interpretations, like once you start picturing potentials up at the higher dimensional level. Right. Darius, you should join us in the spaceship. You too, Dylan. Come on. There's a link to Smoke Spaceship on the for the Discord if you just want to come on over and maybe have a bit of an entanglement. Dylan says, "Great, my uncle's name is Pantilion. Coincidence? There are no coincidences, my friend.
No such thing.
No such thing." Carol is making strange accusations, saying, "Who shook the bottle?" We are merely making abstract interpretations of potential reality here, Carol. It is a pressing issue to get to the heart of these matters about reality. Believe me.
I was just reading the instructions. It says shake well before use.
Huh. So what do you think? Do you think this idea has validity in the interpretation of reality? Because I certainly do. I certainly do. I certainly do. Get it? Because certainty. And even in my own definition of certainty, I'm making a wave function collapse, ultimately guiding myself.
Wave function, mate.
Ultimately guiding myself towards a destination simply by belief. Do you understand? Simply by changing a mind, changing an idea on something can ultimately, cause you to have it's your quantum coordinates are consistently changing. Dilla George says, this story got boring after the 2nd dimension. Next video. Well, it's part 1 of 2, Dilla. We have to endure this. We have to endure this for the sake of understanding in the chat.
That the subatomic particles that make up our world are collapsed from waves of probability simply by the act of observation. In the picture we are drawing for ourselves here, we can now start to see how each of us are collapsing the indeterminate wave of probable future.
Did you just collapse my wave function?
Wasn't me.
Point them out, Smoke. I'll stop them.
No, it's okay, Prime. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about.
Is contained in the fifth dimension into the fourth dimensional line that we are experiencing as time. What if you wanted to go back into your own childhood and visit yourself? We can imagine folding the fourth dimension through the fifth, jumping back through time and space to get there. But what if you wanted to get to the world where, for example, you had created a great invention as a child that by now had made you famous and rich? We can imagine our fourth dimensional selves branching out from our current moment into the fifth dimension. But no matter where you go from here, the great child inventor timeline is not one of the available options in your current version of time. You can't get there from here, no matter how much choice, chance, and the actions of others become involved. There are only two ways.
Unless... So the folding of higher dimension, like within that dimensionality, is actually, you know, our ability to conceive the potential path that we could take. Do you understand? I said, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, good. Validity here. Serious validity here. Carol says, I didn't put any instructions on the bottle. I'm well versed with the bottle, Carol. I'm actually quite the mass producer of shampoo myself. Shampoo, if you will. Carol says, deep thoughts. I almost thought that Darius said that for a second. So yes, deep thoughts indeed. Or dipe thoughts. Or derp thought. Derp thoughts? Ooh. Derp thoughts are cool too. I happen to be a proponent of the derp. Darius Munchausen says, Dylan only likes the first two dimensions. That is both an insult and a compliment at the same time. He's saying that you're a good artist, but you need to start resonating. No, Dillard is Dillard may be taking the piss, but he's an abstract thinker. So Carol says, no, I don't understand. I'm sorry. Don't yell. I'll be better. No. I know what you're doing right now. But it's okay. It's okay. Even though I know what you're doing, it's okay. It's okay. And then Carol laughs and says, what? Derp thoughts. That's my arena. That's my world too. Sometimes you got to bring it back into focus though, and know that every single derp thought is sending you down sending you towards an abstract reality that you potentially, it could be just a complete waste of time. But it's nice to formulate those conceptual ideas, take them on board, incorporate them into your interpretations, into your field. Your ability to interpret those realities ultimately defines the direction that you'll ultimately go. So, purely based on the fact that this interpretation of reality is the truth. That is. Carol's Cookie says, "You know nothing." I do know nothing very well. Nothing is a good friend of mine. So back to it.
Ways you could get to that world. One would be to travel back in time, somehow trigger the events that cause you to come up with your invention, then travel forward in the fifth dimension to see one of the possible new worlds that...
Oh my God, this guy's pausing it again. But what if these abstract reflections of reality and consciousness that we're experiencing, these thoughts are ultimately these higher dimensional projections that we're ultimately, there's a abstract cosmic conscious, this aspect of ourselves that is ultimately influencing ourselves in the present to ultimately arrive at a destination that culminates in it. Oh, it's just too much. It's just too much to comprehend. Too much.
might have resulted. But that would be taking the long way. The shortcut we could take would involve us folding the 5th dimension through the 6th dimension, which allows us to instantly jump from our current position to a different 5th dimensional line.
Now imagine your derp thoughts are the and then you've got this intelligent system within you. You've almost got this like AI guidance system within you that is trying to navigate you through the higher dimensional realms.
That is so weird. As you were saying that, the chat on StreamYard just worked for once. Like Carol's Kapoo came through.
Kapoo? What the fuck, bro? Whoa. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked with the synchronicities of reality, but by all means, get sidetracked with the synchronicities of reality. Believe me. So fun. Best journey. Best journey.
The computer came through, and then the following comment didn't.
Yeah. The last one was asking for permission on the chart for Dilla Draws, and then all of a sudden Carol's Cookies kapil.
Yeah.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Prime. We don't do that sort of thing around here. After the you know nothing comment as well. Anyway, but let's get back to it, because there's still a whole other video to go. We still need to get to the even higher dimensions yet. We still need to conceive of these higher dimensions.
In our description of the 4th dimension, we imagine taking the dimension below and conceiving of it as a single point. The 4th dimension is a line which can join the universe as it was 1 minute ago to the universe as it is right now. Or in the biggest picture possible.
So now picture that we're all some type of one type of quantum wave function entangled and in superposition with itself, that we're all part of one decentralized organism, you know, acting under the wave, like cosmic guise of a wave function, that the entirety of reality can be conceived as an, you know, within this bubble, this starts to like constrict the concept of free will. Once you get to this point, you start to go, wait a minute, like is it all predefined? Does it all, you know, is it all, you know, is free will just an illusion?
Possible, we could say that the 4th dimension is
why are my hands doing this?
the line which joins the Big Bang to one of the possible endings of our universe. Now, as we enter the 7th dimension, we're about to imagine a line which treats the entire 6th dimension as if it were a single point. To do that, we have to imagine all the possible timelines which could have started from our Big Bang, joined to all the possible endings for our universe, a constant.
Can you comprehend the complexity involved with that? Can you comprehend the complexity?
Barely. You can barely conceive of those. Mm-hmm.
Wait, what? What the fuck? Okay, now look at the...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Carol says, don't say it, Carol. Don't say it. And then Carol's comment also comes through and says he's twitchy. Love heart. Okay, maybe we do we have... Nope, all I've got is that comment. And
yeah.
Now, and Carol's comment, not at all comprehend. Oh, yes, it did. It came through. Yeah. I think we're back. Good
job, StreamYard.
Just took you on a cosmic journey there. So that, you know, this is, I get weird with this stuff because it excites me to think in this space. Truly excites me.
Which we often refer,
especially when you start to take into account our ability as creators and what it can abstractly do when taken into context for the entirety of reality, and experimenting with these concepts and even though it may just be illusion. It may just be, but it might not be as well. Or it might be both at the same time. And that's the point. Get it? Because that's the point. That's the point. It's the point of all.
Refer to as infinity and treat them all as a single point. So for us, a point in the seventh dimension would be infinity. All possible timelines, which could have or will have occurred from our Big Bang.
Now that's our limitations within our universe. But there's more. But there's more to it that gets, you know, it gets to a conceivably abstract point where it doesn't really, you know, it does matter. It all matters. It all matters. Those, you know, that infinite can be influencing that infinite, and there can be correlations between those infinites, and they can be affecting one another without, you know, at a dimensional level that we, you know, that we can't quite conceive. Like all of a sudden, you're an infinite, and Carol's an infinite, and Darius is an infinite, and Dillard's an infinite, and I'm an infinite, and once those things start to get entangled, and then all probability and possibility starts coalescing into reality, and it's all and everything becomes entangled and starts acting as a single wave function. and I'll, you know, he'll get to the superstrings at the end of the video.
When we describe infinity as being a point in the seventh dimension, we're only imagining part of the picture. If we're drawing a seventh dimensional line, we need to be able to imagine what a different point in the seventh dimension is going to be, because that's what our line is going to be joined to. But how can there be anything more?
Remember to hit the subscribe button if you have not yet, if you're watching out there. Much appreciated.
More than infinity? The answer is there can be other completely different infinities created through initial conditions which are different from our own Big Bang. Different initial conditions will create different universes, where the basic physical laws such as gravity or the speed of light are not the same as ours. And the resulting branching timelines from that universe's beginning to all its possible endings will create an infinity which is completely separate from the one which is associated with our own universe. So the line we draw in the seventh dimension will join one of those infinities to another. And as boggling as the magnitude of what we're exploring here might be, if we were to branch off from that seventh dimensional line to draw a line to yet another infinity, we'd then be entering the eighth dimension. As we've explored already, we can jump from one point in any dimension to another simply by folding it through the dimension above. If our ant on the newspaper were a two-dimensional flatlander, then folding his two...
Now, can you imagine when you're perceiving of this theoretical ant with this figurative ant, you're conceiving of something that can potentially be conscious at that dimensional scale. And when you start understanding, you know, the idea of cosmic consciousness and cosmic, you know, these realities are conscious, and maybe you're just an abstract reflection of that consciousness, like at those lower dimensional planes. You know, you look at the way that we draw abstract two-dimensional projections onto a page, and they're representations of higher dimensional aspects. Like you start to conceive of this potential that these dimensions are alive in essence, like they could potentially be.
Two-dimensional world to the third dimension would allow him to magically disappear from one location and appear in a different one. As we're now imagining the ninth dimension, the same rules would apply. If we were to be able to instantaneously jump from one eighth dimensional line to another, it would be because we're able to fold through the ninth dimension. Before we discuss the first dimension, we could say that we first started out with dimension 0, which is the geometrical...
Now there's nothing.
...concept of the point. A point indicates a location in a system, and each point...
Because what if nothing is everything? What if there's no difference between? You know?
...is of indeterminate size. The first dimension then takes two of these points and joins them with a line. When we imagined the fourth dimension, it was as if we were treating the entirety of three-dimensional space in a particular state as a single point, and drawing a fourth-dimensional line to another point, representing space as a...
Now, of course, these lines, like they become more and more like absurdly abstract the higher and higher dimensionality you go, because there is no, you can't even perceive what a line would look like in a high dimensionality. You get the shadow, the reflection of those higher dimensional realities, pervasive within that dimensionality. That's what a tesseract is. It's a fourth dimensional representation of the fourth dimension, but a shadow, the shadow in this dimension.
So the third dimension representation of the fourth dimension.
Of fourth dimension. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah. Right. Thank you for adding a bit of more dimensionality to my interpretation.
Add something here and there, don't I?
It's all a trip, man. It's all a fucking trip. Believe me.
It is in a different state. We often refer to the line we have just drawn as time. Then in the seventh dimension, we treated all of the possible timelines which could be generated from our Big Bang as if this were a single point, and imagine drawing a line to a point representing all the possible timelines for a completely different universe. Now, as we enter the 10th dimension, we have to imagine all the possible branches for all the possible timelines of all the possible universes and treat that as a single point in the 10th dimension. So far, so good.
Right.
But this is where we hit a roadblock. If we're going to imagine...
You can't conceive of anything higher
in the 10th dimension as continuing the cycle and being a line, then we're going to have to imagine a different point that we can draw that line to. But there's no place left to go. By the time we have imagined all possible timelines for all possible universes as being a single point in the 10th dimension...
Welcome to the abyss!
It appears that our journey is done. In string theory, physicists tell us that superstrings vibrating in the...
This is a nice, elegant way to wrap it up. But there, there's also, after this idea, there's also the conceivable idea of 6 further dimensions on top of that, layered on top of that. But I won't go into that. But that's what M theory is. That's what membrane theory is, where you've got these brains that But for another day.
10th dimension are what create the subatomic particles which make up our universe, and all of the other possible universes as well. In other words, all possibilities are contained within the 10th dimension, which would appear to be the concept we have just built for ourselves, as we imagined the 10 dimensions built one upon another.
Here we go. Of course, Carrot Cookie says, Shadows. Darius says, Tesseract is easy as 4D polytope. Yep. But we can't imagine the fourth dimension, but we can plot it mathematically and project it into 3D. There is the ability for, and especially when you're, mathematically, dimensions are just variables at the end of the day. And you can, at a mathematical level, you can have infinite variables, so that it allows for infinite dimensionalities. But at the, this model is a nice way for conceptually conceivably that it fits into place. Carrot Cookie says, nerd. Darius says, well, the 4 simplex is the simplest 4D polytope, since it's just a tetrahedron with more points than the w-axis, than in the w-axis. Yeah. See? That's I put Manticore to sleep.
No, I'm just out of my depth.
Now that would be cool. Oh, but yeah. But hey! Stay out of the matrix. Stay out of the matrix. All right. Stay out. No. We totally, Yes, the meta implications are quite staggering when you start realizing that you could potentially be your ability to create can ultimately be the key factor in this. Yes, there's a great way to describe it. Yeah, Carlos Quickie says, "See, nude." Yeah, I geek out on this stuff. Yeah. Dari says we usually just see the 2D receding. So a rendering of a 3D projection in the 4D hypercube. That's right. At what level, at what level do I like the hypersphere? Black holes. We could go into another topic that Mr. Ryan Cardinal bestowed upon us. These are the conversations that I love having. Conversations I love having, especially when the reflections come back at me and I don't need to say a word. Where it's just like beautiful. Where it's At what point is it all a metaverse? At what point do you realize it's all a metaverse and a metaverse and a metaverse and a metaverse and a metaverse? And it just infinitely fractals off from that. Maybe. But it's so fun to experiment with reality. We've got 4 minutes to go in this segment, so I'm gonna see what comes reflected back at us after that interesting journey. No. Lost me at the third metaverse. Oh no, I can geek out, but point is when I geek out to that level, you don't want to leave anyone behind. So yeah. But you can't, yeah. Can you imagine infinite curvature? Can you imagine higher dimensional curvature? Can you imagine? Because it's easy to see the shadow of a tesseract. It's easy to see it, which is basically represented as a cube within a cube, but a hypersphere is where.
What's the other one? The Klein's bottle. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, right.
That's
you start experimenting with variations of topology of reality and the way that the surface of reality is ultimately shaped, and you start getting, right. That's what I mean. You always have to figure out a way to a 4D Mobius strip. I know, that's it. Yeah. You have to figure out abstract ways to project it down so you can conceive of it. That's the worst part, is that like we are so limited by our perception, by our ability to interpret it, what it would be like. So we get these lower dimensional projections of what it can represent, and then we can imagine and keep projecting that up until you get to an understanding. But I love it. And I'm always a student to that sort of thing. I'm always, I'm limited by my own numbskull, but I'm highly interested in it. It's not like I consider myself a mathematician, but I'm deeply passionate about the implications of it rather than trying to figure out the truth of it. Because there's so many, I'm interested in the interpretations of it, and to be able to perceive the interpretations of it rather than bogging myself down in the math. So It's fun. It's fun nonetheless. So, we're at the final segment. We are at the final segment. Darius says the circle is equidistant from the central point, rotated in the z-axis, and you get a sphere. So rotate it in the W. And yes, and brain fart. And
there goes me brain out the back of my skull. Paint the wall.
But you can get there. You can get there. So, our final article for the day. This is out on the 2nd of June, so this article is a little bit older, but it's still something very interesting that I wanted to and I just wanted to dive into. So just to learn the true potential, to something to keep an eye on, because there's movement happening there. So next, everybody, 3, 2, 1. So here we are again. Great to see you guys. It's like we just ran into each other for the first time.
Fancy seeing you here.
You know much about time crystals, Manticore, my friend?
Not really. A little bit. Not much.
Okay.
The concept of them is quite hard to wrap your head around.
Yes and no. Yes and no. We'll see if we can. We'll see if we can get there. Time crystals have been successfully linked together for the first time. Does it look something like that, Darius? What do you think? Is that what it looks like? What do you think? Maybe. So physicists have just taken an amazing step towards quantum devices that sound like something out of science fiction. For the first time, isolated groups of particles behaving like bizarre states of matter, known as time crystals, so entering into a new state of matter here potentially, have been linked into a single evolving system that could be incredibly useful in quantum computing. Now, I'm not sure how everybody feels about the potential quantum age of computing that we're heading into. Its implications are pretty wild once you start imagining the implications of AI operating in that realm. So following the first observation of the interaction between two time crystals, detailed in a paper 2 years ago, this next step towards potentially harnessing time crystals for practical purposes, such as quantum information processing. So time crystals only officially discovered and confirmed a few years ago in 2016, were once thought to be physically impossible. Let me... Let me show some time crystals. So there you go so far. So only discovered in 2016, were once thought to be physically impossible. They are a phase of matter, very similar to normal crystals, but for one additional peculiar and very special property. Gee, I wonder what that is. In regular crystals, the atoms are arranged in a fixed three-dimensional grid structure, like the atomic lattice of a diamond or quartz crystal. These repeating lattices can differ in configuration, but any movement they exhibit comes exclusively from external pushes. Time crystals the atoms behave a bit differently. They exhibit patterns of movement in time that can't be so easily explained. So imagine you've got a structure and a lattice that are extending through the dimension of time. Now you can, the implications are pretty wild once you start deconstructing the potential to, of where that can possibly go. So these oscillations, referred to as ticking, are locked to a regular particular frequency. Theoretically, time crystals tick at their lowest possible energy state, known as the ground state, and are therefore stable and coherent over long periods of time. So where the structure of regular crystals repeats in space, in time, these crystals, the crystals, it repeats in space and time, thus exhibiting perpetual ground state motion. Now, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but theoretically you can rip all these time crystals throughout time to encode it with information in time. So everybody knows that perpetual motion machines are impossible, says physicist and lead author Samuli Awiti of Lancaster University, UK. However, in quantum physics, perpetual motion is okay as long as we keep our eyes closed. Yes, that observer effect. By sneaking through this crack, we make time crystals. The time crystals team has been working with the time crystals the team has been working with consist of quasi-particles called magnons. Magnons are not true particles, but consist of a collective excitation of the spin of electrons, like a wave that propagates through a lattice of spins. Let me see what's going on. Darius asks, what makes it a time crystal? And Carol says, be right back, I'm listening though. So, magnons emerge with helium-3, a stable isotope of helium with 2 protons but just 1 neutron. Is cooled to within 1/10,000th of a degree of absolute zero, creates a superfluidic Bose-Einstein condensate, and you get a certain effect from that superpositional state. So this creates what is called B-phase superfluid, a zero viscosity fluid with low pressure. In this medium, time crystals formed as spatially distinct Bose-Einstein condensates. That's a phase of matter, each consisting of 1 trillion magnon quasi-particles. So for all intents and purposes, like an entangled system that ultimately is in a superpositional state where the entirety of the system acts as a single wave function. That's the idea. This causes them to sink to their lowest energy state, moving extremely slowly and coming together close enough to overlap to produce a high density cloud of atoms that act like one superatom or matter wave. Now, virtual particles, says Darius as well. So, don't get me started. I'll go on a tangent. So, when 2 time crystals were allowed to touch each other, because where do you go with the implications of that? Where quantum systems, where the properties of quantum systems can happen at a macro scale, and how abstract can you get in your interpretation of what these superpositional systems can operate like? Darius says, yeah, what you just said. Yes, right. I mean, what's saying, yeah. The implications of the abstract implications are pretty staggering once you get to the human consciousness level. Once you get to our ability to entangle with one another, where these properties of matter may only be observable at the subatomic level, but the implications of what they could potentially manifest as is in at the patterns at the macro scale. I mean, So Einstein-Bose condensates are weird, or Bose-Einstein, whichever way you prefer. They develop quantum vortices because the movement of the atoms is so slow. Yes, they are all entangled. So, but ultimately, yes, yep. They act as a superpositional wave function, is what they act as. They act as a single thing. Right. So, like low hitting a magnet makes it less magnetic. Don't take me on a tangent, Darius. I'm not. Let's right. So it's an extremely low entropy system. Yeah. So when two time crystals were allowed to touch one another, they exchanged magnons. This exchange influenced the oscillation of each of the time crystals, creating a single system with an option of functioning in two discrete states. Mm-hmm. There's so much. There's so many presumptions about reality sometimes that you can make based upon these patterns at the subatomic level that you ultimately assume will find their way to there's always that divide between quantum mechanics and general relativity, but ultimately we will find the reconciliation between those two systems eventually. And what patterns, what properties will emerge? Well, to be, it's an exciting time. That's what I'll say. It's an exciting time. What's up, Carol? This guy. Don't get me started. I'm telling you, I'll go down. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's good soul food, man. So, yeah, don't you love those? Don't you love those synchronicities, man? You dig the syncs? I do. In quantum physics, objects that can have more than one state exist in a mix of those in a superpositional state. Now, the very act, the very thing that we're exchanging in could be part of that system. So, in a different manner. Of course, we missed you, Carol. Of course, we missed you. So, in quantum physics, objects that have more than one state exist in a mix of those states before they've been pinned down by a clear measurement. Right. So that's the observer effect. So having a time crystal operating in a two-state system in a superpositional state ultimately allows you to do. You arrive at the computational level. So it provides rich new pickings as a basis for quantum-based technologies. Time crystals are a fair way from being developed as qubits, but it's only a matter of time. Get it? It's only a matter of time. All right. As there are a significant number of hurdles to solve first, but the pieces are starting to fall into place. Earlier this year, a different team of physicists announced that they had successfully created room temperature time crystals, pretty big feat, that don't need to be isolated from their ambient surroundings. So no longer room temperature Bose-Einstein, room temperature superpositional function, it take it up, and then the implications are there. I mean, ultimately, we're going to,
that last bit, does that mean that they don't need a vacuum? Is that what that means? Like,
no, it means that they don't.
Isolated from.
So, yes, they have to be in enclosed systems, but ultimately, you have to apply some pretty heavy properties to them in order to get them to act in a certain way. But that being the state of absolute zero, so or near to, but when you can get when you can get room temperature entanglement, and when I think about this stuff, because I am highly interested in the quantum mechanical realm, but it's like, how do these principles apply to us? How do they apply in the classical realm? How can that system be leveraged in order to ultimately do you know what I mean? Are we all part of some type of decentralized quantum blockchain artificial intelligence already? Is the universe, at what level is it all part of a superpositional wave? Are we part of that dynamical system that is ultimately performing some type of complex computation or calculation? And within the act of,
Darius says that's an engineering question.
That's very true. Very true. Yeah. Because I've got my beliefs of how, about how it all works. But ultimately some of those beliefs are in conflict with one another, but that just makes the interpretation more fun when you're in that state of uncertainty. And there's something truly magnificent in the concept of uncertainty. Yeah. That allows for a lot of magic to happen. A lot of magic to happen. So more sophisticated interactions between time crystals and the fine control thereof will need to be developed further, as will observing interacting time crystals without the need for cooled superfluid. So that's what that answers, that was the answer to your question. Yeah. It's within that superfluidity that the property emerges. But scientists are optimistic. So it turns out putting two of them together works beautifully, even if those time crystals should not exist in the first place. And we already know they also exist at room temperature. I mean, the implications, man, to make assumptions are, and especially with I'm involved in some strange AI stuff. Believe me. Believe me. So, yeah. Carol says, I like magic. I'm pretty fond. I'm a proponent. So I ripped through that article pretty quick because I got this stuff excites me. So we've still got 40 minutes to the end of the show. Manticore, is there anything you'd like to do?
Not that I can think of. No, those last two articles stretch my brain capacity.
You are fatigued.
Yes.
You are no longer willing to operate in the entangled system. No.
My brain's going like this at the moment.
Oh, we'll sit and chill for a while. We may find something. We drove away everybody else. It was. I like to do that at the end of the, at the end of the show. Though, is, we all cram our brains at the end of the show until we can't cram no more. With something. That's it. Yeah. Until it's spilling over into the particle next to you. Carol says she likes magic, but she can only summon gloom. I don't believe that for a second, Carol. I don't believe that for a second. So, I mean, we can wrap it up, or we can wait to see if there's any type of feedback that we get that may take us down a little bit of a further rabbit hole. Because we are wrapped up for the day.
It's up to you, really. Like I said, my brain's 100 miles an hour at the moment, so the input I give isn't going to be huge, no matter what we do. But I'm happy to stick around if you want.
Appreciate your input on the AI stuff for sure, Manticore. Carol says, no, Carol, don't go the way of your mum jokes. So sometimes necessary, sometimes if you're not laughing at if you're not laughing at it and with it, it's gonna, you're gonna have a bad ride. Carol also says, but the gloom gets summoned onto others mostly. Carol, are you being gloomy right now, Carol? No.
She's abstract thinking at the moment.
Yes. There you go, Carol. She says, well, your mum crams. There you go. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. Let's chill out. Let's chill out with the chat for a while. So says, I'm fine. Fine. What's up?
Not much.
No. So we got over the hurdles. We got over the shenanigans at the start of the show today, Manticore.
Yeah.
A lot has happened.
I'm fine, Carol. Thank you for asking. I hope you're well too.
There you go. Carol asks, is Prime good? Prime is good. Prime is swell. Yeah. Interesting series of events that we will inevitably unfold as we get further and further into the progression of where we're heading now. But some things were set in motion. Some important things were set in motion. So now it's time for the next leg of the journey. So if you want to check out Artifice Re-Animate, our up-and-coming graphic novel project, which we are in the midst of and have had a bit of chaos and turmoil along the way to producing, maybe we will do a little bit of a plug there. Carol says, subscribe to Darius Munchausen, your friendly neighborhood cyborg. Definitely do that. Absolutely. Of course, if you want to check out our graphic novel project, Artifice Re-Animate.
Awaken to a world where personal identity shadows in comparison to digital reflections.
That is right, Prime. Doing a graphic novel project here. The premise of the story is, after a chaotic incident at sea, Danny washes ashore the dystopian hellscape of Valrona. The larger story begins unfolding as Danny confronts the surface of the world's deeper mysteries, ancient secrets, and the insanity of unknown hyper-technologically advanced civilizations as forces beyond his comprehension propel him on a collision course towards the ever-blurring grey areas between past and future. This is Artifice Re-Animate. 60 pages of action-packed sci-fi, dark futurism, large-scale world-building, character-driven mystery, nightmarish dystopian dread, ancient civilizations, philosophy, and quantum blockchain artificial intelligence. Yeah, pretty happy with how everything has come through. Of course, we'll be announcing a few more things over the coming weeks to do with the project. We did what we could. We did what we could. And we did what we had to. So, yeah. But definitely check it out if you want to get in on that. Got the original wraparound tier. 20 USD, $10 shipping, and it'll get you in. It'll help us out. Get you a copy of the book. Get you a poster. Or, there's a bigger bundle. You want to get that. The original art fan. Collector's combo. Pretty sure this tier will be...
for sale.
Yeah, not for much longer. That's for certain.
Yeah.
So better take that tier down ASAP.
You're gonna have to redo the whole at some point.
Yeah,
to put
we will.
Stuff.
We will. We will. So definitely check it out. And a few announcements coming soon in that realm. Thank you for putting up with my plug. So, cool. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. Much appreciated.
So you got Dilla Jaws. Go check him out. He's got a great YouTube channel. He's doing The Buckler and The Buckler 2 on the horizon. Appreciate it, Carol. Dropping the links, doing the service. Thank you, ma'am. Darius, thanking Carol. Manticore has also dropped.
She
first. Yes. Definitely check out Kaya's. Kaya's A Story of Blood and Stone. Definitely check out our homie, Mr. Ryan Cardinal. Yeah. And of course, Eric, part of the crew as well. Up and coming. He's got some projects in the pipeline. He's also doing a great YouTube show over there. Good man all round. So friendly guy. Does some great art. Highly worth checking him out. And for Carol, because she makes regular appearances over there as well. Slasher McSplitter, and of course Darius as well, who makes appearances on that channel. Definitely go and check those guys out as well. They're doing movie nights and stuff over there, I hear. So deconstructing the minutia of past cinema. Cinema, and I've showed up there a couple of times, and they've had some fun content. Very fun.
Show.
Yeah. Carol says, "That's all I got. Still building the list." Nice. Doing the Lord's work there, Carol. Doing the Lord's work. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up for the day. And so I wasn't available yesterday to do the show, but potentially back tomorrow. If we'll see, I'm not 110% certain on that, but if not, definitely Thursday. Our Thursday, your guys' Wednesday. Appreciate it, everyone. We will be pushing forward from here, no matter what happens. Oh, Carol says this week we will be reviewing Killer Tomatoes from Outer Space. Intriguing. Well, I may have to pop over and just say hello. Yeah.
Wait.
Carol says, wait. Hold up. We're waiting. And then she says, I love you. Much love, Carol. Appreciate everything you do. Seriously. Yeah. And to anybody still out there in the chat, much love to you guys too. if you do us a favor and potentially hit the like button on your way out the door and consider subscribing if you haven't yet. We do what we can around here. And until Thursday/Wednesday, we'll see you guys then. Take care.
Peace out. Have a chat.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care.